What?
Artexrtic is now live. Streaming VTuber, drawing character design while reacting to YouTube content number 17. Send stars to show your support. Siri_bot has joined Cerebolove. Artexrtic is now live. Streaming art, drawing character design while reacting to YouTube content number 17. Botrix has correctly joined the channel.
Nope, too late now. Too late. I'm not doing it. Hold on. First, I need a light. I don't like.
It's black. How can I see that?
Let's see. Go live. Oh, jeez. Alright, we're just going live. Copy. Get his phone and download Xbox.
Controller?
Yes.
He might be out there for now.
I don't know. He's out there. Oh, okay, press the button. Alright. Okay. Let's just finish this off before I start anything. You know what? Let me see. Right now, we'll just have something on the side. These are our foods. Why does this always happen? Okay. I don't know why it resets itself. That's kind of weird. That's a weird one. I don't know why it does that. Yeah, I don't know why it resets itself. That's a weird thing. Okay. 1. 2. There we go. Okay. BG music. Nice foods. Okay. Okay, I guess that's good enough. Whatever.
Video, I'm hunting down the most bizarre. In this video, I'm hunting down the most bizarre state fair food in the USA.
What are the menu items that give people a double take, where people are like, wait, what is that?
Peanut butter, jelly, and bacon every single time.
But first, let's back up. So far, we've gone deep into the far-out fair food offerings of the New York State Fair.
After this, I'm going to need a defibrillator to keep my heart going. Oh my gosh.
Then we drop by the Minnesota State Fair.
I've had the version of this food many times in Vietnam. It costs about $1 or $2. Here, $15. What's going on?
Now, just like Lewis and Clark, we're pushing even further westward to the Washington State Fair, the biggest in the Pacific Northwest and one of the largest in the world.
Good morning and welcome to the Washington State Fair. Quick tip, if you want to go to a fair without any lines, go early in the morning. Also, going on a weekday doesn't hurt. Today it's Thursday, it's early morning, they just opened, and we basically have the place to ourselves.
Here, when you're done with the rides and the seal shows, you'll witness some of this country's most odd, unusual, unnerving food creations.
State fairs are the perfect place to experiment with food, taking ingredients you would never expect to see together, but jamming them together anyways and seeing what happens. Like crossing a corgi with a husky. It shouldn't be done, but it's fun to watch.
From Fruity Pebble cheese dogs, all the way to battered and deep-fried pork belly.
Check out this white pile right here. This is a respectable white pile, enough to make Pablo Escobar impressed.
Today, I'm here to try it all.
This could get brutal by the end of the day.
And it all starts here.
This place is called Kalinka Piroshki.
Malinka Piroshki started its journey in the 1970s here in Seattle, offering a traditional Ukrainian cuisine experience to folks in the USA.
We've been doing mobile food operations since 1979. My grandmother, when she was running it, she had my father stand up front and eat them, just to show off that, look what we have here.
I want that job where you just stand outside your own place and eat the food continuously. I would also have to have alcohol on the menu then.
Waiting in line here comes with a tasty reward, a piroshki. It's essentially a cheeseburger tucked inside a donut.
I've broken into the kitchen, and this is where all the fun begins. They have a dough mixer
Is that a
right here
cheeseburger
behind me. As soon as
tucked
the dough is
inside
done,
a
we're gonna see
donut?
how the stuffing works. I believe
That's
this may
for
be some
you.
kind of a dough extruder portioning device. She gets this big lever, squeezes it down, and then let's see what that's done to the dough. Boom, perfect portions. She works it a little bit by hand, and then it's in with the fillings. Starting with beef, a load of beef, and then a big, respectable square of cheddar cheese. Close it up, and that is ready for the fryer. But they don't just let it fry or float on top of the oil. They're actually going to put it in a little oil jail. The outside feels amazing, just like crunchy, perfectly tan fried bread. And man, there is so much meat and so much cheese on the inside. I'm a little scared that it's gonna boil my face off when I take a bite, but let's see what happens. Oh man, that is like a thick.
It's so loud.
dough
Why is it so
wrapper
loud?
On the outside, the bread is so thick I hardly even got to the meat yet, but you can see it just steaming inside there. It looks gorgeous. All right, let me get a big meat bite. The beef is super heavy and greasy. I think I found a little bit of the cheese in there too. The seasoning blend in there tastes pretty simple and straightforward. It's
Look at that in a
definitely like
second.
salt,
Let me just get
pepper.
this
It doesn't
one.
really
This
have a
one's
strong
over.
flavor. It tastes just kind of like the
Can't
natural
focus.
beefiness, which is nice. The cheese
Hey,
is also
Rainbow,
nice,
what's
very
going on?
creamy, delicious. Oh look, a forklift.
Yeah.
That guy's gonna have to carry me out of here later.
The Washington State Fair welcomed its first visitors in 1900. Now, every year, more than 1 million attendees flock to the 160-acre fairground for a myriad of unique experiences. A brief stroll from our Ukraine kitchen introduces me to another taste of Europe.
Fleischkuchle, German?
German. As a German word, it means little meat cake.
Despite the tongue-twisting name, the cash cow here is much more easy to say, and they call it the beef turnover. An ice cream scoop full of seasoned minced beef and a hit of jalapeno is encased inside a flattened dough and then deep fried.
We started serving here in 1963. There was 3 grandmas that started a booth on the outside of the fair, and they were serving them for like 17 cents.
Fair prices have only gone up like 10% since then, roughly.
However, our bizarre food theme has led us to this.
All right, we have come into the kitchen to see how the mac and tots are made, and it all starts with frying the tater tot.
We always had people saying you
All
guys need to have something along with your beef turnover, you know, a hamburger and french fries and that kind of thing. So we started with the tater tots, and then we kind of had already macaroni and cheese as a kid's
Hey,
meal.
man,
And
what's
so
going
we
on,
just
bro?
kind of combined them one day, and then it just started flying off the shelf.
Tots are done. Let's head over to the mac and cheese station.
The love story between America and mac and cheese dates back at least 3 centuries. These days, the
Here's one thing you need to do before you buy anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon.
average American consumes over 2 pounds of mac and cheese per year.
I grew up in Minnesota in a trailer house, and so for me, mac and cheese comes from a blue box, and you don't bake it and put like a crumb on top of it. What kind of mac and cheese are we dealing with here?
We don't use Kraft mac and cheese. We use like a Stouffer's.
Oh, so you use like a Velveeta?
Yeah.
For me, that was fancy.
To round off our mac and tots, shredded cheddar cheese and bacon bits.
Boom! Mac and tots, $10. It is a carbohydrate bomb. It's carbs on carbs. The only protein here is the bacon. That's gonna really lighten things up. It's not. I'm gonna grab a tot. These tots are super crispy. Salty, crunchy goodness. You know, this is a good base that we're starting out with. But this dish is not just about the tater tots. Right here, we have the mac and cheese. Super creamy, soft noodles, buttery, rich, decadent. Tots and mac and cheese together at last. You got crunch and you got creaminess all in one mouthful. And I got some smoky bacon in there too. How am I gonna eat like 6 more foods today? Oh man.
As the hunt for more bizarre food offerings continues, I'm headed toward a maniacal meat maestro who's battering and frying thick chunks of pork belly.
It's a dessert meat.
But before that, I'm making time for some unknown southern delights.
This place is known as Hattie Mae's Southern Delights. I'm looking at the menu right now. You can find fried green tomatoes, alligator kebabs, an andouille sausage corn dog. So lots of cool Southern food, but foods that have been fairified. Today I'm here for one peculiar, bizarre offering, and that is the biscuit battered shrimp. It sounds like breaded shrimp, but no, the construction gets wild. All right, boom, I'm in the kitchen right here with Steven. Steven is gonna be assembling our biscuit battered shrimp.
First, Steve drops battered shrimpies into a
I mean, perhaps hasn't she gotten the front facing? I'm working on drawing it from different. Okay, cool.
fiery pool of oil.
Sure.
Then battered okra are fried alongside in true Southern fashion.
And then we fry a waffle cone. I'm gonna sit that there for a few seconds while this cooks. And then as soon as these are done, I'm gonna grab those some gravy on top of it.
So we start with 3 fried shrimp inside the cone, then 4 pieces of fried okra, then the remaining shrimp pieces get piled on top. Oh my gosh, country gravy going on top. This thing is wild. And that is the final product. I cannot wait to try that out. I'm gonna pick out a shrimp to begin with. You can see it's falling apart. There's some gravy on there. It's got that beautiful batter and it's still steaming too. That's good. I feel happy. Plump, juicy shrimp, delicious flavor, really crunchy on the outside, a wonderfully seasoned batter. That is awesome. All right, I'm gonna, how do I approach this? I feel happy. So happy. I can't believe how good this is. You have the crunch of the waffle cone on the outside, and then I just love the way he smothered it with gravy until the gravy was going all the way to the bottom of the cone. There's so much delicious, super savory country gravy flavor in there. Even the okra tastes super fresh. It's essentially a salad in a cone because there's 4 fried okras.
Biscuit battered shrimp. It's one of the newest inventions of this mad food scientist and stall owner, Mitch.
Personally, I love Cajun Creole food. We just wanted to kind of bring something unique to the fairground, and this happens to be the only Southern themed booth on the fairgrounds.
Besides Hattie Mae's, Mitch owns and runs 24 other stalls on the fairgrounds, catering to cravings you didn't even know you had, including fatty pork belly that's been transformed into a decadent dessert.
Boom, I'm here with Mitch again.
A shrine for fried food fanatics, Totally Fried presents an array of deep fried treats, ranging from Oreos to cheesecake. However, I'm here for their most eccentric concoction.
Let's talk about the fried candied pork belly. How does that work?
Breaking the barrier between meat and sweets isn't new, but it also isn't easy. For example, in central Vietnam, a dessert of roasted pork inside of tapioca balls are served with a sugary syrup.
That is awesome, but it's so weird.
So good. So weird.
So weird.
Hey, bro. Hey,
Candied pork belly was born to shatter calorie records.
Basically, we kind of bury it beneath brown sugar, also a little bit of rock candy syrup, and a lot of salt. And we just slow cook it for about 4 hours till it's nice and tender and crispy. And then we batter it, deep fry it, and then coat it with a lot of powdered sugar. And serve it with a gochujang mayo.
A little bit of Korean influence in there. I like it. Take a look at that beauty. Just big, thick, crunchy pieces of batter on the outside that have been fried up nicely. Nothing left to do but to put it inside me. Oh my God. This is awesome. Pork is already kind of a sweet meat, so it doesn't hurt to add even more sugar. And it is so soft, tender, gelatinous almost. Gonna give that a little bit of a dip. Now, I'm curious, is it gochujang? Why is it orange? Gochujang mayo, it should be red. Yep, I taste it. There is a little bit of gochujang in there. This is really unique because, you know, living in Asia, it's easy to get pork belly everywhere. In the US, if you want pork belly, you can only find it in the form of bacon at a mainstream grocery store. But here, he's got his own meat guy. I need a meat guy. Maybe me and his meat guy could meet. I'm so tired. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Any state fair isn't complete without food on a stick. From 3-foot-long corn dogs.
What do you keep doing? At some point, it's gonna go through me, Calvin.
To the giant dilly dogs at the Minnesota State Fair.
Gravity is not helping me right now.
I thought I'd seen it all. That was until I arrived at Extreme Carnival Eats.
You're the roast of my beef, the mash to my potato.
This stall takes Korea's wildest corn dog creations to the next level with over-the-top food options like this. The hot Cheeto cheese dog. A massive chunk of cheese on a stick is wrapped in batter, dragged in breadcrumbs, then deep fried. After, it's coated in nacho cheese, then hot Cheeto powder. Finally, it's garnished with sriracha mayo. Yet the most eccentric dog you'll encounter here is dressed up like Joseph and the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
My favorite cereal in the world would probably be Fruity Pebbles. Maybe after Golden Grahams and then Cocoa Pebbles. It's top 3. But you have a Fruity Pebbles Korean cheese dog. What's that about?
Welcoming me here, Mary, the boss and visionary of Extreme Carnival Eats.
It's basically a giant mozzarella stick dipped in our special batter. rolled in tempura, and then we coat it after it's cooked in Fruity Pebbles cereal. It's delicious.
Well, let's find out for ourselves.
What makes this a Korean dog? A couple things. One, it's filled with cheese. Two, the panko crust on the outside. It's a very Korean thing. I remember my first time I tried it in Korea. I lived there for 8 years, and I thought, is there shake and bake on my corn dog? Because that's what it feels like. Let's pick it up. Oh man, nice structural integrity. It's not like too gooey. We got kind of a jam sauce. I wonder if we're gonna get a cheese pull out of this. Whoa, that's incredible. It's sweet and it's cheesy. The Fruity Pebbles are giving off that amazing artificial fruit essence. I like it. The jam sauce, that ties it all together. That makes it work. It's kind of like the sweet binding agent that brings all the elements together, like booze at a party. This lady has an insane menu. I wish I could just do a whole episode about her and how her brain works. The only thing that's not remarkable on her menu is a bucket of fries. No offense. It makes sense that you have it there for the people who want to order that, but if you come here and you see all this and you order French fries, don't hang out with people like that.
If this cheesy fruity stick hasn't left you shocked and dismayed,
Yeah, what's up? Official, what's going on?
Final food of the day most definitely will.
Peanut butter, jelly, bacon, and of course the hot dog in there too. What do you think makes this combination work?
But first,
What's going on, Official? What's life? How's life going?
Mary has another quirky recipe hidden up her sleeve.
Nashville hot chicken waffle sandwich. So it's chicken with Nashville hot sauce between 2 Belgian waffles. It's kind of a
Pretty much the same. Finish things off for today.
spin-off on chicken and waffles.
The marriage of chicken and waffles initially served the needs of night owls, grappling with the choice between a late-night dinner and an early breakfast, providing a delightful fusion of the two.
You have the sweetness of the syrup along with the saltiness of the chicken. And you know, savory and sweet are your two tastes you want to go for when you eat.
It's like Bonnie and Clyde.
Exactly.
Boom! I'm in the kitchen with Mike. We're gonna see how he makes the Nashville hot chicken waffle. It all starts with the chicken. So right here we have what looks like chicken fingers, and that's gonna hit the oil right now. Does this beep when it's done? Yep. Do you ever hear that beep in your nightmares?
No.
What makes chicken and waffles great is that the sweetness actually works really well with the fried chicken. Is this gonna be sweet? Is it gonna be hot? What am I looking at here?
So the waffles aren't super sweet, just a little hint of sweetness. And the Nashville hot isn't too extremely hot, it's more of a medium Nashville hot sauce.
Nashville medium. I like it. Sounds safe.
Mary and her husband launched into their state fair journey over a decade ago, debuting with a pizza booth. Last year, they birthed Extreme Carnival Eats, transforming their wildest ideas into reality.
5 minutes has gone by. Let's take out that chicken. And it's time to dump it under the heat lamps. Now the chicken is ready. We got to get started with the waffle. Grab a waffle, fling it on the flat top, grab some chicken, place the chicken on the waffle. Some pickles next. This is the Nashville hot right here. Oh, and right here we have a sweet syrup going on. This is an amazing combination. Time to top it off, and that is complete. Right here we have our Nashville hot chicken waffle for $16.35. Now it doesn't really compress. Oh my gosh, can I even pick?
Jolie shower. Stop spending money on all that skin and hair care if you're not going to address the root of the problem, your shower water.
Have a Jolie shower head. Fucking different. I bought one of these, the Jolie shower head.
Do this one-handed. Okay, slay.
This small filter hidden inside the shower head removes 85% of chlorine and heavy.
This up? Oh no! I gotta give the handleability about a 3 out of 10. I'm so sorry, Mary. Okay, I've got it now. It's dripping to the plate below. It's very inviting. I've heard of toasting up buns for a burger, but toasting up the waffle, that's nice. Man, that is a delightful texture combination. Just like Mary said, it is savory and it's sweet. That chicken is so crunchy, and the waffle, I gotta say, putting the waffle on the flat top, that is key. This is like a pre-made Belgian waffle. If you get a waffle like this just from a bag, it's gonna be kind of dry. You gotta do stuff to it to kind of toast it and soften it up at the same time. The only thing is that they should call this Nashville.
No, it's on, but oh wait.
Mild. Mary, I'm not hating. I love you, and I love your zeal. It's
Well,
not hot. But it's crunchy, it's savory, it's sweet, and it's delicious.
Before I reach the weight limit for a forklift,
That guy's gonna have to carry me out of here later.
there's still room in my stomach for one more dog, a hot dog. here at Starvin' Marvin's. Setting their food truck in motion in 2018, Melissa and her wife have been producing a distinctive assortment of gourmet hot dogs for the fortunate people of Washington.
What makes a hot dog gourmet and not just a normal hot dog?
So it's all about the quality of the meat, but then also the toppings. All sorts of fun toppings, things that you maybe wouldn't ever think to put on top of a hot dog.
If you crave the ultimate comfort food, the Mac Daddy won't disappoint
You should be able to hear it now.
Says there it is.
you. Stacking mac and cheese and bacon on a hot dog. For a bolder option, consider the Chicago dog, boasting pickle, tomato, mustard, onion, relish, celery salt, and hot peppers. It should be clear by now that the hot dog game at Starvin' Marvin is aiming to knock off your socks or any other type of footwear.
What are the menu items that give people a double take, where people are like, wait, what is that?
Peanut butter, jelly, and bacon every single time.
It's peanut butter, jelly, bacon, and of course the hot dog in there too.
Yep.
How'd you come up with this?
As the name suggests, the PB&J&B hot dog takes off with a massive peanut butter smear inside the hot dog bun.
My wife and I were just sitting at home one day. I'm from upstate New York, where like hot dogs are like a thing anywhere you go pretty much.
Next, a hot dog rests in that cozy bed.
And I like jelly on a lot of things.
Followed by a sweet hit of jelly.
I've never had peanut butter, jelly, and bacon, but we were just sitting there like, let's try it.
And a hailstorm of bacon bits.
So we put it together and we're like, this is a winner, the sweet and salty, it works, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my final bizarre state fair food, because after this, I'm gonna explode. My stomach cannot take it anymore. Oh look, this band is doing sound check. Oh yeah, let's pick it up. Let's test that structural integrity. The bun seems nice and soft. Crunching it together, I'm smushing it together. I'm gonna spread that bacon out. You can see that jelly sticking out. This is awesome. You know, as somebody who grew up in a trailer house eating Jif and Smucker's jelly, this is close to my heart. Dun 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 dun. Oh, wow. You gotta be careful. There's a thick streak of peanut butter in there. I got it, and my God, it is delicious. It's such a beauty. I mean, the bacon adds some crunch on top, sweet jelly, but you gotta be careful. That peanut butter will seal your trachea shut. Make sure you got plenty of saliva going beforehand. Sonny, pace yourself. It's not a competition. I'm trying to figure out, does it taste like I spilled some peanut butter and jelly into my hot dog, or I spilled a hot dog into my peanut butter and jelly? Because it's one or the other. I think it's more like a hot dog fell into my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I kept eating it anyway. How would that happen? Practically? I don't know.
If you love Indian food, then you're gonna love our new channel, Best Ever Food India. Subscribe now for weekly videos, showcasing the most unique street food from around the country.
Here they've slow cooked this pork. Here they slow cooked this. Here they. You got to be body positive.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Here's my question: am I allowed to make fat jokes? I used to weigh 300 pounds. Am I grandfathered in? I mean, I still got a belly. I just suck it in for 18 hours a day. My local fat guys, you know what it's like to suck in your stomach for 20 hours at a time? You get home and then you're like, I can let it go finally. Oh, there's a person. Oh, okay. It's a deep fried pork belly. Yeah, it's good. It's worth it. Ladies and gentlemen, what a day. Today we set out to try this fair's most bizarre food offerings, and I think we were highly successful. They keep the menus very secret. We tried to find them online. We got here and they're like, no, presto changeo, it's something else. But that something else was real special. I gotta say, probably my favorite one today was the Fruity Pebble Cheese
Okay, there it is.
Stick Dog. That may not
Thank
be
you for the
official
lightning
name, but
bolts, I
that's
do
what I'm calling
appreciate it.
So I want to know for you guys, what was your favorite bizarre food combination? Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. That is it for this one. Peace. All right, time to go on patrol. Great timing. I'll help out a little bit. I'll stay in the back.
Good work.
Says I gotta go, but love seeing a stuffed browski.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much, thank you. I'm just kind of rushing right now.
Perfect somewhere.
At this point, I'm just pretty much rushing right now.
I'm aboard. We're inside the riftway. Let's get cracking.
Putting a load of oil on the grill. He's got his hairspray right here. Yeah, baby! It's like roasting in here, but it feels so good. It's cold outside. I love it.
Korea is one of the most distinguished food countries in Asia. Though the city of Seoul, South Korea's capital with a population of 10 million, seems to get all the attention.
Bro, that's yummy.
But what if I told you there was an even better Korean food city, the second biggest in the country? a city on the coast, meaning they offer an extensive list of some of the freshest seafood in Asia, along with some of the most shocking seafood in the world.
I did not see that coming.
Here, they have fresh air, or as I prefer, air filled with Korean barbecue smoke.
Oh man, that is heaven.
In this full-length series, you're gonna experience the best food of Busan, South Korea.
Woohoo!
And it all starts right here at Jagolchi Seafood Market, where I'll attempt to spend $1,000 on seafood. So let's get started.
Boom, we've just stepped foot in the market. There are tons of vendors like this. It's super clean, organized, and actually, smells pretty good too. Here, one of the first foods that stood out to me, this is a sea cucumber. They're alive. It's in very cold water. These are actually interesting to eat. They have a very rubbery texture, and when you pick it up, they squirt out a little bit of juice. Cute. All right, this one's almost fully deflated. You must be going through a midlife crisis. All right, time to put them back in the water so we can inflate again. There you go, little buddy. Let's keep moving. Boom, we've come to another vendor here. She has so many different things and a lot of different shellfish. Right here is a pen shell, the biggest one I've ever seen. They have abalone, sea pineapples, they have penis fish. It's called kebu. Any idea why they call it that? I mean, just take a look. Oh my God. Oh, it's an active one.
Hey, no.
You bastard.
Skip that.
It's got two eyeballs on the one side of its head, and then when you flip it, oh, she's getting her net. So you can see it's just like one side has pigmentation, the other side doesn't. So I'm gonna order 2 of these, and then we're gonna get some more seafood too. The next step is to take them here and to politely say goodnight. Goodbye. Oh, look at this. She's thrown in some bonus shrimps. Wow. Oh, 감사합니다. We've come to another cool spot with this right here. Lots of cuttlefish. This one, it's the biggest one in the whole market. Oh, wow. Look at this creature. It sounds like an out-of-breath dog. It kind of changes colors a little bit as you touch it. What a remarkable animal. And soon, that definitely live, sentient, gasping creature is going to be turned into sashimi. Sashimi? Sashimi. 이거 얼마요? 30,000. Wow, that's about what I expected. But I'm going to spend $1,000. I'm going to spend a lot more money than this. So I've just been told, actually, he's going to make the sashimi.
Says show the full piece.
Right here. Oh, that is
Not
the
now.
sack and
Yeah,
everything else
finishes
all
off.
taken out and removed. Looks like we're keeping all of that, but rinsing the ink
I'm on a
off.
deadline
Now
right
that
now.
he's got the skin removed, he's going to peel the outside layer. Alas, the thick cone of the cuttlefish is now being cut thin into a raw sashimi, and you can see the muscles are still spasming, although this creature is long gone and his soul is up in cuttlefish heaven. We've come upstairs and it's a very different vibe. Less fish smell, lots of people hanging out, eating, drinking, having a good time. I love it. Here there are tons and tons of kitchens. This is a kitchen we brought our food to, and they're gonna make it up right now. Right here we have the cuttlefish legs, and these are gonna be boiled or steamed a little bit. And then right here we have the flounder. Those are being salted and cleaned a little bit more, and soon they're gonna fry it. Oh, we've got a skillet full of hot oil. Flounder goes on top, and a second one right there. Oh, looks like it had a little bit of life left in them. Not anymore, don't worry.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, that must suck, bro.
Right here we have our first course, and my God, am I excited, because this is a lot of food right here. First of all, to sit down, you don't actually have
That's
to pay
wild.
money for them to cook the food, but you do have
Not
to pay
gonna lie.
5,000 won per person to be here.
Feel
And
bad for
with
little
that
fish.
5,000, they will cook the food, but they will also
Rest in
give
peace,
you some
little
time to
fishy.
munch on our, like Korean side dishes. We have some water kimchi, peanuts. Oops, I ate some of those already. Some steamed sweet potato. This is samjang sauce. We have typical kimchi. We have some nice leaves and plants here. We have some chilies and whole garlic pieces. For our protein, we have the sashimi from the cuttlefish. I've never seen sashimi like this, cut down into almost like noodle shapes. Then right here, this is also part of the cuttlefish. This was just simply boiled up here. Here we have the flounder. Now it's looking really different from the flounder on the Little Mermaid. Wow. This meal requires a lot of explanation. Right here, soy sauce. Here, this is gochujang. I'm gonna start with the cuttlefish legs. Oh yeah, the sauce is pretty good. It's spicy, it's a little bit sour too. The meat by now, it is very dense and very chewy. But if you eat it plain, virtually no flavor. I almost choked. Right here, take a look at this. It's like a pasta. I'm gonna hit this with some soy sauce, get it nice and salty. Oh, it's so good. It's different because it's raw, and so it's a little bit slimy. So it kind of slips down your throat while you're eating it. It has a slight seafoodiness to it, but it's virtually flavorless. It's all about the texture. It's very firm and slimy at the same time. This is the flounder. It's cooked in such a way that it's like crispy and fried on the outside, but almost like it's steamed in the center. The problem is, if you take a look, tons and tons of bones. Wait, did I just do something perfectly? Oh, that was pretty good. So I got the bones on one side and the meat on the other side. Give it a dip in the soy sauce. interesting. Whatever is green on there is extremely bitter. I'm gonna take the skin off. There is just the fish with a little bit of skin, no sauce. It's a very mushy fish. The skin has a good texture. It's fatty. It's just, there's something wildly bitter on there, and I don't love it. Look how crispy this is. Give it a little bit of a dip. The best bite, very nice. This is our first course. We're gonna do at least 2 more. The goal is to get to $1,000, but that may not be easy. So far, we're at under $50. From here, I'm gonna go back downstairs and see what more expensive seafood I can find. Meal 1 is complete, and I am back on the ground looking for more seafood, and I've come upon this right here, a whole basket of dangerous black sea urchins.
What
so
the hell?
Spikes, which they're able to move a bit. You can see its little belly button. I believe they're going to cut it in half, expose the naked eggs inside, and you can eat it raw. These things are dangerous because you could be in the ocean, swimming, surfing, you step on it, it's going to go like through your foot.
Here's how to go from
That
this
sharp?
to this using your smartphone. Let's go. First, plug in.
They're little bastards. See, I censored myself. Don't worry about it. So I'm gonna buy this whole basket right here. 1 kilogram, 20,000. That's more than I thought. So right now he's just gonna pack it away, and upstairs they're gonna cook it up for us. We've come to another stall here. The biggest tiger prawns I've ever seen in my life. I mean, look at that. That is like the size of a lobster tail. The word shrimp does not even apply here. They should call it a medium.
That thing is huge.
Wow, 20,000 Korean won. It's wild. I have to buy it. I have to see what it tastes like. All right, bag it, and we'll take it with us. For round 2 right here, we are now going to collect the biggest flatfish we can find. Wow, that one has some acne. This is a very unique fish. You can see the 2 eyes on the one side. It's always just looking up at people's butts and fins. Because of its unique eye configuration, they're known as the bastard halibut. What a cool name. All right, putting it in the basket. Guys, I'm putting my hand on the fish, and I have a big hand. Yeah, go right there, my hand. Look how big that is. You can see the weight right here, almost 3 kilograms. Multiply that by 2.2, and that's our fish. So I just found out the price of this fish is $107,000. A lot more than I expected, but that is a lot of fish. Right here, this is an old Japanese style. He's gonna shove the steel rod into the spine. Now the fish is completely dead, but it's gonna create a reaction from the fish. And I'm told this is gonna make the meat even better, softer, all the good things. Wow, look at the skill and precision. Someone who has done this 1,000 times before. That is a massive fillet right there.
That was painful. Kind of feel bad for little guy. That is yeah, that's a big ouch.
That's a big fish.
I don't know about that
We're
one.
in a brand new kitchen right now. We're about to cook up this shrimp. Let's go. So today our shrimp is gonna get a nice gentle steaming right here in this pot. Next time we see him, he'll be looking nice and pink. Right here we have all of our sea urchins. One by one they slice them in half, almost breaking them, revealing these big, beautiful eggs inside. After cutting it open, they give it just a little bit of a rinse, and then that is gonna go on our platter, and we're gonna try it out soon. We have our second course right here, and the most expensive so far. It's actually more than this. Hold on, there's another plate. It's also this plate. We just don't have room on the table to put it all. Of course, we have the banchan. Moving on from there, we have the sea urchin, and then right here we have the biggest shrimp I have ever seen, and that is where I'm gonna begin. I'm gonna pull out this whole side of shrimp and take a look at that. That is a freaking tiger prawn right there, folks. This is samjang sauce. Samjang is a combination of red chili paste and fermented soybeans. Then we have sesame seeds and sesame oil. I'm gonna mix all that up together. I'm gonna smear that to add some flavor onto our shrimp. I'm gonna try it out. Oh yeah, a very nice sauce combination. It's super salty. It's got a little bit of kick. The sesame oil makes it smoky and deep flavored. White bite. Right here we have the sea urchin. It's a little dangerous to pick it up. I was hoping they would cut these needles off a little bit, but they have not. So that is a load of eggs. As far as I can tell, they've not done anything to the sea urchin except for cut it open. Creamy, oceanic, bit of brininess, a little woody, earthy almost. So it is good plain.
You can't just put Woody there. Come on, man.
Cheers.
You can't just put him there.
Wow, new level. It's nutty, it's smoky, it's got a great seafood brininess to it. It seems like an ideal seafood for drinking if you have beer, if you have soju. Our final food is the sashimi. The color of its flesh, it's not purely white, it's not purely red. It's got different shades and tones. Some are more translucent and some are more pale white and opaque. The first bite, I don't want to flavor enhance it at all. I just want to taste the full halibut flavor. Let's go. Super clean flavor. It's got some bounce to that meat. So they've given me some wasabi and some soy sauce. Give it a little bit of a mix. Grab another couple. Give it a little bit of a dip. Soy sauce and wasabi together join hands, and they elevate this dish to a new level. It's so good. All right, from here, I am gonna consume literally everything you see here and nothing will go to waste. And then I will get our last and most expensive course yet. Let's go. Right here, we stumbled upon one of the most expensive seafoods you'll find at this market. These are gigantic crabs. This one is, notice the claws are not banded. You gotta be careful, and this guy is very much feisty and alive. Okay, he said just lift it from the back, but just don't be a puss. Boom, here we got it. This is a snow crab. Different from a king crab. You'll see the body doesn't get quite as big. The legs are long, but a little bit thinner, and it is ferocious. It wants to crush me. As big as this is a little guy. We're gonna put him down. This is what I'm really interested in today. This right here is the king crab. A crab so big and so near death, it can't muster the strength to try to pinch me. Now, can you? Wait, are you alive? Hey, what's that now? Yeah, he's okay. He's taking a nap. Price for 1 kilogram is 75,001. Multiply that by 3. That is 225,001 for this whole thing right here. Last time I had something this size in Vietnam, it was almost $400. So I'm looking at this like it's a discount bin purchase. Not bad at all. Let's go upstairs and try them out. Right? Time for your pain to end. Isn't that fantastic? This is its final resting place right here. This is a very cool technology here. She has a kitchen hose so she can fill up pots. I've seen a lot of hose in my life, but never a kitchen hose. Next time we see that crab, it's gonna be looking bright orange and succulent. I cannot wait. We've got the king crab, that's boiling, but I wanna get one more food, something that I've tried before, but never in Korea. First of all, these are the biggest freaking oysters I've ever seen in my life. Do I wanna eat a giant oyster? No. Here, big old blood cockles with the tongue sticking out. And then we have clams here, and then a few different types of snails. Now, if you watched my videos before, you know I've had so many different types of snails, especially in Vietnam, but I've never had Korean sauces mixed with this kind of meat, and I'm excited to see what that would taste like. Those are not cheap. It turns out $5 per snail, 20 for 4. Check it out. We've got our bull king crab right here, and she's about to take it apart. Oh my God, she just did like a suplex on that. That's like an
Oh my
MMA.
God.
From here you can see that big head full of crab soup. The whole body is
This is
steaming
just
beautifully.
destroyed, bro.
That is, but she just pulled that out. Now she's cutting it up and putting that back on the plate as well. Off with the legs, leaving all the hip meat in the body. The claw here, she kind of pre-cuts for me, so it's easy to get into. This is all the waste and the gills and the stuff we do not want to eat. But that, my friend, we're definitely going to be dining on shortly. Right here we have our third and final round, and my gosh, this place got real busy. Those are people who are like on a race to get effed up right now. I might as well join them.
Says Rit Mr. Krabs.
Right here we have a whole crab.
Recipe Mr. Krabs.
As I thought, they just did. Did a simple boiling. This is our red chili paste. Let's go for it. Oh wow, that poop sack was still soft and kind of room temp, but the snail itself was delicious, meaty, slightly rubbery in the best way possible, and then mixed with this sauce, rather than being fresh and refreshing, it's kind of a bold, intense experience. The snail, I give it a pass. There's so many people here and everyone seems panicked about food. Next and finally, we have the king crab right here. This looks just extraordinary. All right, so we're gonna take out that tendon and open up the biggest piece right here. Oh man, it's Donino sauce. It's so sweet, fatty, and delicious. Here's the other half. When you steam it, the fat kind of bubbles up and boils to the outside. I gotta say, it's cooled down a bit and it's still delicious. Oh. At this point, I'm not reviewing anything, I'm just eating. Hold on, this is for my wife. Next right here, we have a giant claw. It's very thick. She's cut it a bit. Take that out. You should be able to scoop this meat out. What I'm told is that some people here actually like to eat this with soy sauce. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of a dip. You know, as an American, we just get used to eating all this type of seafood with butter and that's it. That's so much better than I ever expected. It has all the saltiness from butter, but none of that overwhelming richness. It's so good. This has been 3 rounds of seafood. I cannot do any more than this. The goal of this video is to see if I could spend $1,000 on seafood in one day here in Busan, South Korea. So now I need to add up everything we ate for the entire day and see if I got even close to $1,000.
If you're trying to spend big money on food in Korea, don't go to the seafood market. Instead, go get some Korean barbecue. Next, I plan to indulge in Korea's cheapest Korean barbecue buffet.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Then, I'll go to this country's most expensive barbecue restaurant with prices that'll make that king crab look cheap.
Wow, guys, this is what $423 looks like.
Let's get started.
Well, welcome to our first destination. This place is called Monso, and they have an insane buffet deal here. $16,900. That is a little bit less than $13 for all you can eat meat. Let's go inside and check it out. 안녕하세요. 이거 주세요. 무한 리필. Yeah. So I just ordered from the menu right here. There are two different types of buffets you can do, pork buffet or a beef buffet. But if you're trying to save money in Korea, you're going to be eating pork. What's nice is they initially bring you a bunch of side dishes. Then if you want refills or if you want more, you can go get it yourself. We've got a salad, some onions, kimchi, garlic, samjang sauce, and more. I don't know how a place like this makes any money because that is incredibly cheap. Oh my God, look. Remember earlier I was trying to figure out how they afford these low prices? Well, it turns out it's because they don't have to hire humans. They have robots serve over the food. Here we have samgyeopsal, mushrooms, pork skin, some moksal, lots of different dishes. Thank you, robot. You did well. Leave. Do I need to stroke you or something? I gotta say, similar personality to our actual server. They were both wearing a mask, I couldn't tell them apart. Right now we have our meat, we have the side dishes they brought us. I'm gonna get some of my own side dishes and we're still waiting for the fire. It's a lot that has to come together to make this work. Let me show you what they got here. All you can eat of everything. First of all, a big old glooping container of samjang sauce. Here we have a classic Korean Italian pasta. So that's elbow macaroni, mayonnaise, and corn. Very nice. Here we have garlic, kimchi, onions with soy vinegar sauce, some pickled radish, more onion, green onion, and then we have even more stuff on this side. I've never seen this at any barbecue in Korea before. Different flavored salt. We have wasabi salt, garlic salt, curry salt, and Himalayan salt too. On this side, some vegetables to put on the grill. Squash, zucchini, potatoes, chilies, 3 different types of greens. We have a plant called bracken, which I've never even heard of before in English. I'm gonna scoop up some side dishes, sit down, and let's eat. Right here we have the most common, affordable meat you're gonna find in all of Korea. It's called samgyeopsal, and it is the pork belly. It's kind of like a thick bacon, except for it's not cured. All right, our first course is right here. It's looking crispy and delicious. I'm just gonna hit it with some wasabi salt. I've never had wasabi salt before. Let's see how it tastes. Oh, that's good. It is just bursting with porky goodness. The wasabi salt is not a strong wasabi flavor, but I like it. It's creative, it's interesting. Here's how I would typically eat something like this. A little bit of garlic, maybe some onions, a little bit of kimchi, samjang sauce. Then we put in our meat, and that right there is like a little flavor package ready to go to heaven. Oh man, that is heaven. The thing with Korean barbecue is if you find a good place with the right side dishes, you don't need expensive meat. I could just eat this samgyeopsal and be pretty satisfied because I can mix and match it with so many different flavors. This is our second course right here. They actually brought us some thinly sliced beef. Putting that beef directly over that pork fat, now that is haram. I can't wait to try it out. So I've got my beef right here, looking crispy, fatty, delicious. Cheers. Oh. It doesn't even have to be a good cut or a good quality cow. This could be a cow that did drugs, that was homeless. What's important here is they've cut the beef so thin. It's impossible
Excuse
for it
me?
to not be tender and melting in your mouth. Sorry, I was supposed to say an unhoused cow. Now the cows will not be offended. We have a few more.
Yeah, what
cuts here.
kind
These are
of what
both
kind of
beef.
metaphor was
This
that?
is just a Vienna sausage. I'm not going to get into that, but this right here is.
Bro makes
skin.
some
Now,
weird
the skin has
metaphors,
already
not
been
gonna lie.
cooked, so we need to recook it to get it crunchy over the fire.
He said a drug addict cow. What the hell? What are you trying to say?
The peanut powder. You're supposed to just put a bit on there. That's gonna give it a peanutty flavor. Cheers. It's delicious. The peanut dust gives it like a little bit of an earthy flavor. I think the star of this dish is how gummy the skin is. Like eating sheets of collagen. Oh yeah, that's good. So this has been our inexpensive location. To me, it's unbelievable. That's
That was so weird. That was a weird analogy. No shit.
There's service from robots. What more could you ask for? Let's find out. Because next we're gonna go to the most expensive Korean barbecue I could find in this country. You ready? Let's go. Alas, we've come to our final destination, the most expensive restaurant we could find here in Busan. Perhaps the most expensive in all of Korea. I'm talking a place that dignitaries go. Presidents,
What the hell?
gangsters. What stands out to me first is that the building from the outside looks really boring. Because real wealth knows when it's rich. It doesn't have to show off. You look at Flava Flav compared to Mark Zuckerberg. One of them wears a t-shirt.
Grayscale looking
like
good.
You've never seen before.
Thank you. Thank you. Trying to really bring that to life. I think it's a better way to color.
Wall of their wine selection. Now, almost every place you get
Trying my
barbecue in
best
Korea,
here.
they're gonna have beer and maybe different types of soju, but it's not that common to find a big wine selection. So I'm really excited about that. Let's keep moving. Here is the meat. So there's a guy inside. This guy is a maestro with the meat. Come take a look at the way this meat has been cut. Do you see how it's like a lattice shape? It looks fantastic, and it's gonna make it even more juicy and even more delicious after I hit
Says
that
Flavor
grill.
Flay and Mark
Mark
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg. Okay, that one was a weird one, but it was still kind of on point. Like he's right. You like I think Asmongold I think Asmongold did a video on this. We might watch that later, but like he did a video on this. Like real wealth, like if really truly rich people don't show off their wealth, they know they're rich, so they don't have to show off. So he's saying like people who are like millionaires compared to a billionaire. So a billionaire doesn't have to show off. They know because you know, right? It's like you know Elon Musk is I think he's a billionaire if I remember right. And you know that Bill Gates is a billionaire, so you don't have to like expect Bill Gates to have like a Lamborghini, you know? So like it's like kind of like that. Like you like wealth knows wealth. Like you know who's rich, you know who's famous and rich, but you know who's rich. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. So I might watch that video. Don't know yet. We'll see.
I'm drawn to the prices. For example, this a T-bone steak is 75,000 won. That's not too bad. And then you realize that's for 100 grams. It's not that much meat. A pound of meat here would cost around $250, $300. Pretty expensive. We're not starting with the meat. I'm going to start with a drink. I'm going to get a bottle of wine because it is noon on a Monday. Then I'll be able to make a decision about what to grill. The panchan has arrived. These are our little Korean side dishes. Oh, wow, really beautiful. And then this right here is going on the fire immediately. That looks like a welcome bite. Oh, and there's the wine. I've never had wine, but no wine opener. Maybe she went to go get that. Maybe it's up to me. All right, I've got a chopstick, a wine glass. I have a spoon.
Well, what's up, Mike? How are you, bro?
What?
Hey, Gracie, what's going on?
Got our wine open. It's brilliant. Let's try out some of the food they brought here. First of all, here, this is a yukjeon.
You know when they're rich, especially if they use coupons or ask if there's a special deal at McDonald's.
Yeah. A special deal at McDonald's.
Let's try some of this right here. Our
Not
first
wrong.
taste of meat. I'm just going to hit this with a little bit of salt and pepper. Salty, it's a little sweet, it tastes of soy sauce. That's how you make someone feel welcome. I don't need someone to pour my wine for me. I need someone to bring a little tiny boiling bowl full of meat. This is a great way to start the meal. From here, I'm going to order my first course. And before I even get something to grill, I want to order caviar, and I want to order
Not much, just popped in to say hi IGTG soon though for dog walking job.
Oh, I got you. Do your thing.
But what they do have is
Do your thing. I'm so glad that you got your job. I'm glad for you. I hope things are going well.
It's so bizarre. It's like a jelly that they made from boiling the cow feet. Cheers to cow feet. It has like a meaty but jello-y, sticky texture to it. Funky but lovely at the same time. Now, this is a Russian caviar, so that's how you know it's good. Do I have mixed feelings about supporting Russia during this time? I'm mainly focused on the caviar, so no, I can't say I do. Cheers. That's really nice. A little briny, fatty, sticky. I would say very decent quality. From here, I want to order some meat to finally put on the grill. You'll see soon. Right here we have beef brisket and beef tongue, 100 grams of each. So you can see it's not a lot of volume. She's put clay plates onto the burner and then she's just kind of glazed it with a little bit of fat. All of the brisket goes
I
in.
have a
Here,
question.
this is
What's
some
with the
sort of
video
kimchi
rich
that she
people?
puts on.
Steak/meat,
Now she's taking the beef and
caviar.
actually wrapping it around the kimchi. Some kimchi in.
Okay, the question is, I have a question. What's with the video rich people? Steak,
Pretty
set
good. I
meat.
picked up doing woodwork, finished making a push stick and in the process of making a push sled for the table saw. How about you, Art? How have you been?
I mean, well, just doing my thing. Just trying to finish this this grayscale and make it one with the colors. I'm trying to get that through, and then we'll be officially done. That's all I have to do is just color everything in. I just fixed everything. Everything looks on point. I just need to make everything look, you know, painterly. But to answer your thing, Gracie said, I have a question. What's with the video rich people? Steak, meat, caviar. Yeah, no, we're just watching a dude review food around the world. I'm not gonna consider this as a reaction video. It's more of a distraction video for you guys to watch. So just sit there and watch me draw and be in silence, because I'm not holding too much convo right now, so I'm just having this open on the side so you guys have something to be distracted by as I get this done, because this should have been done since yesterday. So I'm trying to get this done. I'm very late trying to do my whole sponsorship thing, so I'm trying to get this out of the way as fast as possible so we can just get straight to the game. So that's why I'm not doing any reactions. We're not looking at any like videos, and I'm not holding a whole, like, not giving any hot takes. I'm just literally just trying to get this done. When they're done, I just need to color in the shirt and just a little bit of the clothes. I mean, a little bit the clothes and the face and the hair a little bit, and then we're done.
Inside, beef on the outside. Cheers, my first bite. Oh yeah, kimchi is so fermented and almost stinky. The beef is so oily, but it tastes incredible. This is real wasabi. 99% of the wasabi that you find in supermarkets.
Okay, thank you for the context. Thumbs up.
Is expensive.
Yeah.
It's a finicky plant to grow. The difference is,
yeah, no
you can
problem.
eat a clump like this, and it's not going to melt your brain stem. I'm going to put it on the beef, and let's try it out. It's decadent.
Oops, sorry.
It's so rich. The wasabi is a nice contrast in flavor. It's so delicious. Oh yeah, cook up that tongue. It only needs 10 or 15 seconds on each side.
Kinda like Subway Surfers in TikTok and YouTube Shorts.
Put some wasabi and some salt and pepper. That tongue is ready for
yeah.
my tongue. Oh, it's so springy. It's like something between a heart and lungs. So that should be pretty relatable right there. I used to get the cow tongue, and I used to think like, oh, where was this cow? Who was he licking? Who was he in a relationship with? And then I learned to not think about weird things all the time. From here,
that's such a Twitter thing to say. That's peak Twitter. You know what I'm saying? They don't worry about what the character is. They just worry about who they be sleeping with. That's the wildest thing. That's peak Twitter nonsense thinking.
Here, I need to bring out the big guns. I am looking for the most expensive thing on the menu. It's going to be a variety of meats that they choose, and it's coming in at 560,000 Korean won. This is such an irresponsible use of company funds. Let's eat some beef.
Like, I know he's making a joke, but when you just really stop and think about it, that's how a lot of Twitter people think. That's why we can't have nice things or nice anime or anything, because they have to make it about them and their relationships with the show or some weird shit.
Wow, guys, this is what $423 looks like. I thought it would be bigger, to be honest. You can see the meat is like dark red, tons of intermuscular fat. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into this.
Damn.
Damn.
We have our first cut right here. This is the eye fillet. It looks fantastic. I'm going to give it just a little bit of a dab in the salt and pepper. Throw it back. Shut the front door. Oh, it's almost like a mini crust. That sear on the outside is so perfect. So this is Hanwoo beef, and that's part of why it's so expensive. It is like the Wagyu of Korea. The only thing is, Japan has a lot better marketing team when it comes to their beef than Korea does. Because I've only heard of Hanwoo in Korea, and that's it. We're on to our next meat right here. This is the inside skirt. Different from upskirt, which is a type of photography made popular in Japan. I'm gonna give it
bro.
Salt and pepper. Here we go.
Come on, man.
Not softer, more firm. Definitely more oil and juices popping out too. Really different texture, soft but chewy. What's fascinating here is there are so many flavor enhancing options. But with steak this expensive, you want the flavor of the beef to shine through. And man, let me tell you, it's shining. Right here we have our fourth course. This cut here is known as the beef flap tail, and it seems like it's kind of a trend among food reviewers in Korea to eat some of their barbecue raw, so why not? Cheers. It's not bad. You can feel the fat melting on your tongue. I mean, that's good quality beef. I like it. Very nice. So she did seem very concerned about cooking the steak too much after she saw me eat a piece raw.
Get it.
It's gonna be my first time comparing the raw version to the slightly more cooked version. Cheers.
He ate that shit raw?
A little bit more. This has a delicious buttery taste to it. It is so rich. Every bite you take more of this
Bro ate that shit raw?
LMAO, would you eat raw barbecue?
No, I don't
Do
think
you
I would.
He can use making these videos of going to expensive restaurants as a tax write-off. I mean, he's using the
Yeah.
videos for income.
Yes, yes, yes. Everything you see. Okay. For those who don't know, if you know, that's great. If you don't know, for those of you who know, when you're a creator and you make money, that's how, like, if you're making money from your YouTube videos and stuff like that, you can make a tax write-off on everything you see. So everything you record could be a tax write-off from your showing that you went on the plane, from walking around going on taxis, everything. Why do you think vloggers do what they do? Because a lot of people who vlog realize that it's a pretty easy way to make money. The only thing that makes vlogging hard is two things: interest and editing skills, right? Now, you don't have to be like a super great editor to like do vlogging, but you have to be at least compelling enough to watch, because if you have a really stupid personality or a really lame personality, people are going to not want to watch your videos, and they might clown you over depending on what it is. But like the point is like, you can, everything you see, every YouTuber that you watch, everything they record is a tax write-off. So like let's use Markiplier for instance. Every game he plays is a tax write-off if he bought them. So if he bought a game from Steam, tax write-off. If he's in the if he shows him wearing his headphones, tax write-off. Him showing his background, like the sponges that makes it easier to like make it sound even better and more professional, tax write-off. Everything you see is a tax write-off.
Says hi, teach.
So when you get a tax write-off, you get money back, and it saves a bunch of money. It's a great way to make this is why a lot of people wants to be like influencers and YouTubers, because you can tax write off virtually everything you're doing, especially if you're like some type of streamer.
Says that a known user for 5 high Ari.
So yeah, everything you see that he's doing, him being in the hotel and everything, tax write off. And that's how they stay, well, pretty much rich and stuff, because they everything is pretty much for free at that point when you can tax write off. So everything that your favorite YouTuber does, whether it's a stupid video like Akidera is doing something like what's going on with Japan, with something very strange that she bought from Japan. I don't know if it works there in the Japan in the same way, but I'm pretty sure you can get tax write off in some form. But I'm pretty sure they do it differently. But here in America,
oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so everything you see. So when they go on their trip, when they mention the trip, where they're going, the food they ate, they keep track of all the food that you ate on your receipts, everything. You have to have some form of evidence that you went there. You have a receipt, something that's in your name, right? So when you go on,
does that count as a one-time thing, or can
no,
you write
every
down
time.
the headphones
Every
again
time.
a year after, even
Yes.
though you paid for it once?
Yes, every time, every year. Every year. You can tax write off if it's like, for instance, if that same thing you tax write off got broken, you can get a free one. They'll pay it off for you. You can get another one for free. They'll reimburse you that money back to get a new one or a better one. I don't even think like a brand new one. It's a thing. So this is why how your favorite creator stays employed. So like for instance, like when you guys donate money to me and stuff on the gifts on TikTok and stuff, I don't use any of that money because I save it, but I have to do taxes on them, and I can get a tax write-off. So everything I do, depending on, I have to have some form of receipts. That's why when you guys send like PayPal money, Cash App money, whatever, you have to have some form of receipt to show that you have it, and then you have to keep track of those things for tax season, or like the equipment I used. And stuff, I get a tax write-off for that too, for like the monitor, everything. But since I haven't like shown them my content too much, I don't think I can get a tax write-off on them this year. I don't think so. But it does help me make money. It's what I do to make money. So like anything that helps you, it helps your business. You have to be a business. So whenever you have a business and the thing that you're doing is what generates money. So like I can have a tax write-off off my my avatar. I don't have to because I literally just bought it and done. But like I'm just saying, like if I were to say right now I want my avatar to be a tax write-off, it is because I use it for people to come in to see me and then use it as a vehicle for you guys to see how things are going, X, Y, and Z type stuff. So it's because one person will come in and say, "Oh, hey, Art, what's going on?" Another person will say, "Oh my God, I love your chat, your chibi," and then a third person will say, "Oh my God, I love your avatar. Here's $50. It looks so cute. Where did you get it?" You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it works. So everything you see from this video and onward, everything he can make is a tax write-off from everything he purchased, everything he ate, free. That's a tax write-off. That's why if you are serious about doing this YouTube thing, make sure you have a hook or something that's really interesting. So when you start doing this and you want to be a vlogger, this is why I said I would do a food channel. I think the best channel to start off is a food channel because everyone relates to food. There's not a single person who doesn't relate to food because all these humans on this planet has ate food at one point, right? So like I think food channel's where it's at. So if you want to start somewhere, I think food. I wouldn't start where it's super saturated, but not just because it's saturated doesn't mean you'll get any views. It just means it's going to be much harder. That's pretty much it. When people say saturated, it doesn't mean you're not going to get views. It's just going to be harder. That's it. So yeah.
And separate everything. You can't have your personal and your
Oh
business
yes,
together.
you can't have personal stuff and your business together because if you do that, that's going to cause trouble. And you can't. I don't think you can have tax write-off when you make your. So let's say you have your personal. You use your traveling car to do your food reviews in other restaurants, as your personal place, like you're going to go hang out with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. You can't make that your tax write-off because you're using it personally. It has to be strictly for business. It can't be like, oh, I'm using my traveling car compared to my personal car. I'm going to just go to my girlfriend's house because, you know, it's my car and I have gas in it. No, once you use that car for personal reasons, which they'll figure out because based on your mileage and all that stuff, and they will say, can't tax write off that you're using it personally. It has to be for business only. So please keep that in mind. That is very important. You can't be just having your business stuff mixed with your personal stuff.
Fat is spilling out of the meat and just kind of gliding down your throat. It's like A5 Wagyu. It says A5 Hangwoo. We are down to our final meat. Right here we have Korean ribs. Koreans are the masters of ribs. What they do is they take the beef bone, they cut it, and then they slice it until it becomes this long blanket of meat. It's just like an accordion. This looks stunning. It looks delicious. It's the most popular thing they have right here. Time to try it out. Juicy, smoky, and a unique texture that you can only get by cutting it in this very unique way. It's like they created more space for the meat to get exposed to heat, where the juices and the oils start leaking out. It makes it softer and a little bit more tender as you eat it. This has been a meat journey. What I can tell you is that this was a delicious experience. Now, aside from being a delicious experience, this is a very expensive experience. This is absolutely the most I've ever spent on barbecue, I think, anywhere, and certainly the most I've ever spent here in South Korea. Please don't tell my wife, even though she's filming right now. Babe, earmuffs.
After spending my future child's college money on barbecue, I'm starting to feel
my future child's money.
Now I'm not sure if I can come back. Dumbass homework. Anyways, wish ya luck on the art.
Oh, thank you, Grace. I appreciate it. Hope to see you again, Grace. I appreciate it very much. So, thank you. Hey, SNC. Hello.
Money in order to have a mouth-popping experience. So, I'm leaving the high life and joining the masses at Bupyeong Night Market, where I plan to document the cheapest yet most delicious street food in this city. Let's move.
So we've come to a very typical street food stall here in South Korea. The first thing you'll notice when you come here is the steam rising off of this tank right here. This is odang. Odang is essentially like a fish sausage. I couldn't decide what to order, so I got a little bit of everything. Right here we have tteokbokki, pounded rice cakes, fish cakes, and all of it smothered in a red chili paste. That is some big tteokbokki. Usually they're much smaller and thinner. Let's try it out. I've been thinking about you, boy. It's so chewy. I swear to God, the flavor of the red chili paste sauce is so addictive. It's slightly sour, it's super salty, and then kind of spicy too. This is some odang, and for some reason that red chili paste goes really well with the kind of fishy broth that's on that flat fish sheet. I couldn't tell you why that's so satisfying, but it is. It has a great consistency. It's almost like when you open up the fridge and you're like kind of hungry but not super hungry, so you peel off a piece of bologna and eat that alone. It's the fish version of that. Right here we have our second dish. This is called Byungtaejeon. This is a fish pancake made from pollock. Look how gigantic that is. It's like layers and layers of fish pancake. If you come to Busan, you have to get seafood whenever possible, and this is one such situation. Let's go for it. I think frying it on the flat top has firmed it up a bit. It is extremely oily and very heavy. Here, the edges right here. This is more fish and breading together. That's a nice bite right there. This is a food that requires you to take your time a little bit more, because if you go quickly, oh, see, like right here, that is actually a fin sticking out. You got to be careful. You're going to choke to death. I got a bone right here. In Korea, they say, if you're choking on a bone, just eat some rice. It'll push it all down, except for, I don't have any rice here. Right here is our third and final dish. So
is that true? That sounds kind of counterintuitive. I don't think that'll make much. I don't think that sounds smart to be choking on a bone and then eat rice. That just sounds worse. That sounds like you're making the problem much worse. I don't know. I'm not in Korea, and I never heard that before, but that just sounds like not the best strategy to like survive. I don't know.
So if you know bibimbap, it is like a kind of a salad of a number of different things that you mix together with rice. Here, the rice has been replaced with, looking at menu, dangnyeon, a glass noodle. We've got some boiled greens in there, some radish, lots of that red chili paste. Mix thoroughly until the color of the noodles changes completely, and then take a bite. Oh Lord, it's very good. The noodles have a great chewy texture to them. It tastes like there's some sesame oil in there because it's smoky inside. There's some mushrooms, there's some vegetables mixed in there, but mainly it's a carb bomb. If you're running a half
Says I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I don't think that's a good idea. Not the best strategy. If anything, you should drink water, because I guess you, I don't know. Would that be a better idea? I think drinking water would have been probably the best way to get it down, but, and again, a bone, depending on how sharp and how intrusive it is, that really depends.
Right in your face. The other great thing is if you want to eat something and you're hungry and you just want to go for it, you can just grab a stick of odang like this, take a bite, and they'll charge you when you're done. No big deal. If you're coming to Korea for the first time, you have to come to a place like this. Sit down and just point to what you want. Chances are you're not going to be disappointed. This is stop one. We have a lot more to see. Let's keep moving. So we have come to the actual Bupyeong market, which is wild. It is a bunch of carts in this narrow corridor, and they have a sign up here that says keep to the right. So there's a lot of pressure.
You know, that shows how trustworthy the Asians have in their own people, because he just said something I don't think most of us just didn't realize. He said they won't charge you till you're done. Like literally, they don't charge you first, and then you go eat. They let you eat and then charge you. So they have much faith that you're going to stay, most likely, and pay, then you're going to just dine and dash. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of funny, you know?
You need to kind of keep moving, and if you stop in front of a stall like I'm doing, people might get upset. But I have a job to do. I got to do what I got to do. It's the first card I saw, and it looks fantastic. This is fried steak cut super thin. First, they put it in the flour. Then they put it in an egg bath. And then that hits the grill right there. So that is going to cook on each side. They're going to prepare it with some of these greens. And at the end, it's going to look just like that. Fantastic. Guys, let's go eat. Right here is our official first dish of this Bupyeong market. This market is interesting. What are my honest thoughts? This is a fun market for people who love to non-stop make physical contact with other people who they don't know. The only thing making up for it is that this food actually looks pretty unique and pretty delicious. This right here costs 11,000 Korean won. It's fried, but still flexible. We have an assortment of vegetables, a small salad on the side, if you will. But let's just get right into that meat. Cheers. Fatty, juicy, certainly not crispy or anything like that. This is more like an omelet coating a steak. It is very heavy though, and she was being generous with the oil she's putting on there. We'll try some of the vegetables.
Vegetables? He said vegetable? He said vegetables. He didn't say vegetables, he said vegetables.
Refreshing combination. It's fun. It's a great start to our anxiety-induced night. Let's go. Right here we've come to the fried food section. They have 3 distinctly different meats that you can choose from. Right here, this is fried chicken skin. Not even meat, it's just the skin. It looks incredible. Then they have 2 more seafood selections I want to try here. First of all, this is something I've seen a lot in Southeast
Says, hey,
Asia,
Teach,
but
I
never in
finished
Korea.
your sketch. Let me send it to you in Discord.
You eat the whole thing, the claws, the legs,
Okay.
the body, everything. And then here they have coconut shrimp. Big, plump, looking absolutely juicy, fine, and thick. I'm not going to eat that here. I'm going to take that, I'm going to leave the chaos and go eat it alone, like I usually do on a Friday night, until I convince someone to marry me. Ha-ha. We have our first food right here. This costs 10,000 Korean won. In USD, it's this much on the screen. Okay, now you got it. This is the coconut shrimp. You can see the coconut on the
10,000 Korean won is $6.13. Then what is $100 then?
Says, hey, teacher, I finished your sketch. Let me send it.
Okay.
The outside, it looks delicious. Let's try it out. Oh yeah, delicious. It's got a thick, crunchy coating on the outside. The wonderful taste of coconut is greasy, it's heavy, and that seems to be a bit of a theme for the food here so far, or maybe that's just what I've been attracted to. When I think coconut shrimp, I think like a tropical location. I think the Caribbean or Jamaica. I don't usually think Busan, South Korea, but maybe this is where coconut shrimp was invented. Right, Cax? Right here we have our second fried food. This is the little crabbies. We'll not make a joke about crabs. We'll not make a joke about crabs. They look very crunchy. I do like how breaded they look, because sometimes they can fry these and not put any breading, so definitely have been battered a bit.
Says, there you go, lol, it's on Discord messages.
It's pretty good. It's so easy to eat. It's like the potato chips of
Okay.
the sea. It's super heavy and greasy, but it almost feels
I'll look
like
in 2
they
seconds.
stuffed meat into the body of the crab. It doesn't even seem natural. Let me break one of these open for you to see. It's so full of meat. Overall delicious, 8 out of 10, but it needs a sauce. Even if it had ketchup, something tangy.
I made a lot of
sweet,
wine
and
moms
something to go
mad
with
at
it,
me
but
when I
crab-
went to Hobby Lobby, bought a Gaku model kit, but remember I needed ink. The cashier said I didn't have enough for the kit and 2 inks.
I made a lot of wine moms mad at me when I went to the Hobby Lobby. Bought a Goku model kit, but remember, I need ink. The cashier said I didn't have enough for the kit and 2 inks. Oh, oh no.
Crab meat inside is a very nice touch. We've come to our next location, and now I'm very excited because here they have lobster. They put some kind of artificial crab inside of the lobster. This is a carapace of a crab.
Says, how's your day been so far?
Inside of there. Right now we're gonna
All right.
see how it's made. Right here,
Could have
you
been
can see the
better.
stuffing of the lobster. He puts in some mock crab going inside of real lobster. Then right here we have the crab
Long story
heads,
short,
some
I
crab
had
meat,
enough for
some
all of it, but
cheese,
the
some
cashier
butter,
did
and
the
then
math
some
wrong, so I did 4 transactions in on moment.
Oh god, that must have sucked.
crab inside of that too. Now the butter is going on top of everything. These have a lot of butter for sure. There's no doubt about that. More cheese going inside of my crab heads. Putting a load of oil on the grill. He's got his hairspray right here. Yeah, baby. It's like roasting in here, but it feels so good because it's cold outside. I love it. Okay, so this is food number 7.
Says, oh yeah, teach. Would it be alright if I showed you a person's hair? It's hard to sketch.
Yeah, sure. Oh.
Let me show you how we do stuff around here. Actually, my department uses Monday.com, so I'm good.
A work management tool? No, that's not for me.
Well, Monday.com is...
I'm not sure I lost count already. Every time you come to Korea and you come to one of these street food streets, you will find some guy with cheese, seafood, and fire.
Says,
and
have you watched Berserk?
This guy is making something truly unique. So we have all these different
Yes,
parts
I have.
of the lobster cut in half. Of course, we got one claw, half a tail, half a body. But then there's kind of a weird seafood salad made into the body, stuffed inside of there. He's also created his own sauce, that white sauce. It looked like mayonnaise to me. And he had a tangy red sauce. He had tons of oil. He had mounds of butter. A pretty nice flavor. Slightly overcooked, a little tough, to be fair. He did drop a napalm bomb on it from about 50,000 feet. Oh, the tail is even kind of pre-ribbed out and cut up. Maybe it cooks
To answer your question, yes, I have.
faster that way. And maybe it's easier to eat. Smoky. I can taste the gasoline. Whatever he has in a hairspray bottle, I can
Says
taste
send
it.
it.
It tastes a little bit like acetylene. By the way, the 13,000 Korean won, which is roughly $10. That's not that bad. Now we have the body. So if you peel it back, these are real eggs from inside the lobster. Then this is that fake crab meat that he's put inside. So we want that combination. Wow, look at that bite. That is an unusual seafood salad. What an odd combination of flavors. The eggs are kind of rubbery, a little fishy. The crab is sweet, of course. And then all of it's just covered in mayonnaise, cheese, sauce. It's oily, it's greasy, but somehow light and delicious. That is an awesome creation. And I think absolutely worth that price. So right here we have the crab head, eyeballs bugging out. Inside there's meat, there's cheese, there's fake meat, and then even
Says
more
I
cheese.
have
And it
been
doesn't
drawing a
look
lot
like
of
all the
Eden
cheese
Ring
melted.
characters.
Mayonnaise too, and I can't believe this is
Says
less
it's
than
fun.
$5 for what we have right here, and it's
Yeah, it should be.
real animal head. Cheers.
Usually. Hold on.
It's really good. It's deep and it's full of stuff. It's hard to tell like what is cheese, what is meat, what is sauce. And there's certainly a lot of fillers, and most of the meat is fake crab meat anyways. But still, you're eating it from an animal's head.
Oh, what the hell? Yeah, drawing Elden Ring characters should be fun. That's something you really enjoy, you know. And given that Elden Ring is, I think, highly inspired by the idea of Berserk and other dark
Seeing a line
manga.
of scowling faces with their laugh, love palette wood wall art in their carts and Stanley cups that give you slight lead poisoning in their hands was bizarre, like they came from a factory or something.
Hey, long story short, I had enough of it, but the cashier did the math wrong. I did the 4 transactions the moment seeing the line of scrawling faces in their life love palette wood art. It's their chart Stanley cups that gives you the slight lead poisoning in their hands was bizarre. They're like they came from. I see.
The mad seafood scientist striking once again.
Pissing off
This guy.
customers,
I was wondering
bro.
why he was wearing a mask at first until I realized all he's doing all night is breathing in fumes. It's only 8:30 p.m. This guy is high as a kite already. We've stumbled upon our next food. We're going strong with the meat, and we've got more meat right here. These are like giant meatball logs covered in bacon. They're spicy and not so spicy. The more you buy, the cheaper it gets. So it's 1 for $4, but you could get 3 for $10. So it says Scotchy egg. So it's a Scotch egg. Okay, let's try it out. Let's get the spicy one. So he puts on 2 different types of sauce. Then that's going to get the torch. Wow, you can see the bacon sizzling on the outside. That is definitely haram. Put that in a little bit of a cup. Then that's going to get cut and quartered. From here, dressing. Some mysterious white sauce, and then some greens to go on top. That is complete. Samda. Right here we have a Korean Scotch egg. But what is a Scotch egg? I will tell you from my memory. A Scotch egg is a boiled egg wrapped in sausage meat, coated in breadcrumbs and baked or deep fried. So this is the Korean version of that. There is indeed an egg in the middle. I know because I asked. Then a layer of meat, and then instead of breadcrumbs or anything like that, they put bacon on the outside, and they sauce it up like crazy. You would think that the torching would have done more to it, because actually it's very cold. Just moments ago, the bacon was sizzling, and now it's just kind of room temp, but the taste is good. It tastes like way over-seasoned hamburger meat or like a meat loaf around the egg. It's hard to taste the bacon because that sauce is so strong and powerful. Another bite? Oh. Overall, I like it. I find it to be creative, innovative, and fun. It's a fun take on a classic food from another country. They just did it their way with their ingredients and their flavors and an S-load of sauce. Let's keep moving. As long as we're trying classic food from other countries, let's try what this man has right here. It is Vietnamese bánh made the Korean way. What does that look like? I'm about to find out. The dish starts right here. We have a thick batter going on top of oil, and then even more oil. My God, that is half oil, half.
Damn, that's a lot of oil.
Vietnam is using rice flour.
Oh my God.
They use about that much oil. So basically, it's deep fried at this point. The next step.
They're deep frying the oil?
Sliced onion, some
Bro.
sprouts. Right here we have pork coming from the grill. Right here, the epic flip.
That is so much oil. You make an American blush.
So good.
It does, but like that's oil. Oh my God, it makes an American blush.
Closing it all inside. So the next step is to cut it into 4 pieces so it's manageable. A few shrimpies go on next. So here we have a lot of fish sauce going on and a load of sweet chili and then a peanut sauce going on top. All right, 감사합니다. Right here we have Korean bonseo, something I never thought I would say in my life. This is very different from a typical bonseo. The typical bonseo would be on a wok. It would have a little bit of oil. This is a record-breaking amount of oil. He kind of has all the same ideas, essentially. He's got pork, he's got shrimp, he's got the rice flour batter. But it's
Says
like,
maybe I should move to Korea.
AI image creator, and then it spit that out.
Says
And
after
it was
all.
like, we kind of didn't get it. It is just a deluge of sauce. But it picks up pretty good with the chopstick. All right, my first taste of Korean bonseo. Let's try it. very crunchy, and from sitting on that griddle, on that flat top, it's gotten a bit smoky too. The sauce on top is what's really sweet. Wow, it's a pool of fish sauce. Actual fish could swim in this. I actually kind of like the flavors. It's crispy. It has like a nice balance of vegetables. There's a ton of pork in there. An irresponsible amount of sauce, but I still like it. Is it just like the Vietnamese bun sale? Not even close. But this man made this his own. Bean sprouts, shrimpies, sauce. The best part is the price for this, less than $5 for this whole dish right here.
$5? Less than $5? That's worth it. That's worth it. That's less than $5. If it tastes as good as he claims, that's less. That's worth $5. Less than $5. That's $4. My God.
Street foods like tteokbokki or odang are extremely popular,
Says it
meaning
is.
they can be found pretty much everywhere.
That
But
looks
next,
amazing.
I'm on a mission to hunt down some of Busan's rarest seafood offerings.
It's so slimy.
From wildly controversial whale meat shops,
wow,
to a plate of shrimp that costs over $200.
It's like $20 per shrimp.
It all starts with the ugliest fish in the sea.
Says, wait, what are you looking at?
We have come to our first location. 안녕하세요, 아줌마. 이름이 뭐예요? 한국말로? 옴장어. These are
The food.
ugly-looking eel-type creatures. The way they're prepared, it might scare you a little bit because they still writhe and wriggle a little bit, even though the head is removed. Actually, I'm not sure if they removed the head or not. We're about to find out. Oh wow! So in the back, you can see the tail is kind of flat, like a butter knife, and then it. Oh, thank you. Oh, they're really slimy. Look at that bizarre, wormy, noodly face. Oh God! Looks like it just had a wet dream. Oh, my hands are never gonna get clean. I'm never gonna recover from this financially or emotionally. Wow. I want to end my life right now. So right now she's going to show us how she actually takes the skin off the animal. She actually puts a needle through its head, puts that through the cutting board. She makes such quick work of this. Slicing down
Says
the
I
body,
managed to
peeling
Oh
it,
my
goes
God.
down to the
Character at it
skin.
as
These
well.
little bits that look kind of like rice grains are eggs, I'm told. And that right there is the delicious hagfish meat. These are not alive. And in fact, these right here can keep moving for up to 7 hours, I'm told.
Oh my God.
This, I mean, I just look at it and my mouth is watering. It looks so good. All right, we have our fish right here. They're going to be put upon the grill. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is more than I bargained for. This seems difficult to cook. I've never had a situation where the fish was actually still escaping the cooking
Okay,
vessel while
I'm
being
gonna
cooked,
get your
even though
goals
it had
at-
long
okay.
since passed away. I gotta say, it doesn't smell that great. It smells like burnt fish. But that doesn't mean it can't taste great. From here, she has the scissors, and she's cutting them down to little bite-sized pieces. Wow, this actually looks like a giant cow penis. Right now she's put on some tinfoil. She said it's actually a bit easier to cook with the tinfoil on there. Perhaps it disperses the heat more evenly. She's cut all of it into the tiny little bite-sized pieces with the scissors, and then now she's just roasting it, flipping them one by one, just like typical Korean barbecue. She said, give me your hand. She put on the sangchu, some lettuce, other kind of lettuce, piece of raw garlic. Oh, and she just put the fish into sesame oil, and then she said put on some samjang sauce. All right, so she said wrap it up and friggin' eat it and stop talking. Wonderful. That has raw garlic and sesame oil and the samjang sauce. So there's a lot of potent flavors being mixed in with the meat.
Stop spending money on all that skin and hair care if you're not going to address the root of the problem, your shower water.
Have a Jolie shower head.
I don't care.
So right here we have just the fish. This white part sticking out here. She said it's just part of the muscle. Huh. What muscle is that? She said at least give it like a swipe with the sesame oil. Look at that steamy hagfish. It looked so ugly a little bit ago. Now it still looks terrifying. Cheers. Whoa, it's actually pretty decent. It has a really chewy texture. The meat is not really fishy at all. It almost tastes like pork. This is like the tail. Whoa. The tail is a little bit less meaty, a little bit more crunchy, almost like a tendon, but really nice. This is a neck. There's this cut that they love in Korea. It's like pig neck, and it's just like that, where it's like a really dense, fatty, delicious meat. 깜짝이야. Wow. The hagfish, it has a brutal sounding name. It looks intense. It's very slimy, but in the end, tastes pretty good. Samda.
감사합니다.
She's like, now leave. For our next restaurant, I need to be a little bit secretive. This is not only an exotic food, but whale meat.
Whale hunting in South Korea is strictly prohibited. However, there's a loophole when it comes to consuming whale meat. It's allowed if the meat comes from accidental catches, or if the species can be verified.
Now, I'm told that the animals here, the whale is not endangered, but some of the whale that was brought into this country was done so illegally.
South Korean fishermen have been taking advantage of this bycatch loophole by legally selling whale meat that they claimed accidentally was caught in their fishing nets. However, research has shown that recent bycatch numbers are far above normal, a situation that has stirred controversy in South Korea.
Most of these whale restaurants do not want you to film their restaurant. So we're still gonna ask permission, and if they say we can, as just cool tourists hanging out here in Busan, then we'll do that.
So I'm told this is from the minke whale. It's like blubber, it's a fat. And then she just kind of slices thin slices. So I'm told that's the tail meat. And this is kind of from the back of the neck. Wow, that's big.
Okay.
So this is a hard piece of meat. It's a free upgrade. And this is some soft stomach part of the whale. So they give us a million different parts here.
Here's the situation. I spoke to the woman outside, very nice lady. I don't intend on showing her face or revealing which restaurant is hers because we don't actually have proper permission to shoot inside of here. But that being said, you know, just an American guy and his Vietnamese wife and his Korean guide out for some whale. Nothing unusual about that. To be honest, it doesn't look that good. That is the skin. Then there's a big 1.5 inches of fat, roughly. If you're a whale, you're a big creature in cold water. You need a lot of blubber around you to keep you warm. So that is what all that fat is. And then there's protein after that. I'm told, you just put it in here, a little bit of salt, let's try it out. Wow. Put some garlic back. Oh, it's so fatty, greasy, fermented tasting. I'm not sure why people would opt to eat this. It tastes pretty bad.
Okay.
Flavors are stuck to the back of my throat.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see what she sent me. Alright, she waited long enough. Hold on. I wanna look at what she sent me. Dang. She's a Discord. Yeah. Discord. Hey, Moxie.
Says hi, Art.
How's going on, Moxie? How are you? Oh, okay. I see the little guy. Okay. That's so cute. Hold on. Where's a web file? Actually, you know what?
Says I dropped my phone.
1 second, 1 second. So yeah, this is what she drew. This is what Ari drew.
Glad you like it. I finally held my promise and got you into a sketch.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like it. Looks cute. Yeah, it's got Gunther. Aw, looks so adorable. Look at the yeah. This little me just standing there with my little gun, and then Gunther's ready to go, ready to rock and roll, bro.
Says Lil Teachy.
Yes, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, Ari. I do appreciate it. This looks adorable, hon. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it very much so. Thank you. Lovely stuff. Looks super cute. Love it. Yay. I'm a little soldier.
Says let's go.
I like how Gunther still looks always mad.
Says you're welcome.
I gotta ask my rigger, can I have him like smile once in a while? I gotta ask my rigger that. So he can probably get around to it, but we'll see. Alright, sorry about that. Now we can get back to the story, but thank you, Ari, I do appreciate it.
She did give us different types of pieces, so here's another type. They said to put just a little bit, there's special secret sauce. That was a bit drier, less fatty, less intense. Just a little bit more like jerky. Not so strong tasting. Here's another different type of cut. I'm gonna hit it with just the salt. Cheers. Everything is better than that really fatty one I had. It's a different experience from what I had in Faroe Islands. This is all just fatty pieces. There's no like steak or protein here, where in Faroe they had a balance of like skin, fat, and protein. So it's a wild experience. I don't know how much longer we can keep pretending we're making a vacation video. I think we need to wrap it up before they get too suspicious. Anyways, that has been whale meat filmed secretly in Busan, South Korea.
Ain't that against the law?
Something new and interesting. Let me back up a second. This place outside the main market has a really fascinating, cool vibe.
I don't know.
It's like all these little houses with maybe 2 or 3 tables each. They have a bit of seafood. You can choose the seafood that you want, and they'll cook it up right there. Here, we stumbled upon another such place. They have something I want to show you. Now, this isn't the most odd, unusual thing in the world, but the way they prepare it is really unique. Hold on. 도와주세요. 이거. Now, first of all, you gotta work smart, not hard. She takes a basket out of the water, and then she uses a knife to peel this off of the basket. 감사합니다. Now that is a succulent, delicious, interesting-looking abalone. You can see the shape of it is actually contoured to the basket, and then that shape is also a pretty unique shape too. For no reason. So we've all seen abalone before, it's no big deal. But if they cook it the way I'm hoping for, we have a tantalizing visual treat in store for us. So right here, I've ordered 4 abalone. They've just plucked them out and they're taking them inside. Wow. Give them a little bit of a bath. Wow, they clean
Jesus.
up nice.
Oh my god, I hate that.
This is called a dog shark, and they don't cook it, they don't steam it. Actually, here, they're gonna make a shark sashimi. The shark is right here. She's got the net. Look at that beautiful creature. Very thin. It doesn't seem like we're gonna get that much meat up there. So we're gonna have to get 2. She only has 1 good arm right now. Can she do this?
Damn!
Oh my God. Damn! Got 1 good arm. That is how...
Bro, you didn't have to beat his ass like that. Damn, what the fish do to you? Like, I know that's how they kill it. Well, she does have 1 arm, so what can she do? Oh man, it just destroyed my boy. Like, damn. Yo, she killed him the way that Saints Row went down. Same way that Saints Row and Suicide Squad is about to go down. That's sad. That just, damn.
You kill a shark.
Yeah, it did, bro. No
shit. And there is not a lot of meat remaining. At this point, it seems they've scraped out pretty much
poor
everything.
little fish.
I'm told it's going to be sashimi, but with the bones, and it seems it would have to be because that's about all that's remaining at this point. Here we go.
Thank you for the heart.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about. They are just wiggling back and forth in their shell as the heat creeps in and penetrates the shell. They're trying to escape their shell, but you know, they can't because they're connected to it. We just asked how long it's going to take for them to cook all the way through, and they said soon. She's saying it's cooked enough of the way through. She's gonna cut it off now. So each one, just like a snail, has a little poop sack. Ah, that's the mouthpiece. She's cutting that off too. So from here, she's just gonna cut it down into little bitty
Says it beanbag
right here, we
bean.
have all the meat. It's looking fantastic. Some of these pieces are feeling a bit more firm, dense, and finished. The dipping options are red chili sauce, or we have sesame oil with a little bit of salt inside. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a dip.
Says, oh wait, I think I sent you one other thing on Discord. It's his hair.
Overall, good.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'm gonna put a little bit less oil on it. Wow, right
Wait
now
1
it's kind of
second.
like medium rare. So some parts are a little bit more dense and some parts are a little bit like an oyster almost, really soft. The flavor is really clean. You mix it with a little bit of the sesame oil. It's just salty, it's smoky. It's really good overall. For me, the most fascinating part of eating abalone like this is just seeing the way they prepare it. You're literally watching them like trying to crawl out of their shell and they can't. Too brutal? I'm not sure. I don't think abalone even have brains. Hey Siri, do abalone have brains? Abalone don't have brains as we typically think of them. But can I tell you, the people who get offended by seeing the abalones being cooked,
I
they
know
also
how
don't
to
have
draw
brains.
curves,
So that
but
is
these
the
are a little
abalone
more
right
dot
here. We have the
if
full
that makes
shark
sense.
fillet, and then on both sides, there's 2 different types of sashimi. There's
How
one
much
with the
curls,
bone and
but
one
these
without the
are
bone. So I'm
a
just gonna grab a
little
little
more
piece and try it
curly,
out.
if that makes sense. Okay, hold on 1 second.
I found the bone tough. Flavor, it's a little bit like mineral-y type flavor.
If I
Nothing
had to
fishy or
pick a
anything like
tea,
that.
it would
I'm
be
gonna try
your
to eat this
boutique.
piece that has no bone. Wow, the meat is really tough. It's kind of like eating.
If I had to
octopus.
pick a
Let's put it in the
tea,
red
it would
chili
be.
sauce.
If I had to pick a tea, it would be your. Okay.
you
think I
add
call
some
him
flavor
that.
to it, it's better. The sauce is spicy and savory, and then you have some nice meat to just kind of chew on, but that's about it. And this isn't food to get you full by any means. This is food to kind of hang out, chill, drink 18 beers, 7 bottles of soju with a group of friends, and you all just like take little bites. All I'm missing is best friends. There is one food remaining in this video, but first we need to wait for the sun to go down. We have come to our next exotic seafood location right behind me, a restaurant specializing in shrimp, but not just any kind of shrimp. This place is called Dokdo Gotseu. Most of these shrimp here originate from the island of Dokdo. Dokdo is a very contentious island. Don't
Says
talk to
that's
any Korean
my risk
person
for you
about it, 'cause they
teach.
think they own it, and the Japanese think they should own
That's
it. And
that's
if you're
your
in Korea, just feel like
that's your
definitely
risk.
your guys's.
I don't deserve risk, to
I
be
actually
honest.
don't, I have no idea. I'm just gonna assume it is. They have different types of shrimp I wanna
But
show you. First, if you come look
but
down
thank
here, this
you.
is what
Well, first thing, let me see. Wait, before I do anything, let me. She said she sent me something. Hold on. She sent me something. The North Korean, like the K-pop star type hairstyle you're
Says
talking
it's
about
the
here?
easiest pick I got of him.
It's known as the Dakseu. That literally translates to chicken
What's wrong with this hair again? What's the issue?
shrimp. If you look hard enough, it kind of looks like some loose chicken hairs coming off its shrimp head. Up here, we have a couple more varieties that are mixed together. This is the gotseu, the flower shrimp. It looks like a flower. But lurking amongst the flower shrimp are these gigantic shrimp with that big spiny crest on its helmet. That is known as a dohwa seiyu. If you get them at the right time of year and break them open, they're going to be full of either green or blue eggs. That's what we're looking for today. Next, we're going to get the guy who works here, ask him to plunk out all those giant shrimp, cut them open, and see what's inside. 안녕하세요. 이름이 뭐예요?
진짜 헬자 철자 신현철.
Well, it's a long name. Usually it's just 3 syllables. This is our fisherman fishing by hand, as you can see. I didn't know they made gloves that tall. Follow him. I don't know what's happening. So he's getting his stepping stool right here. My man has climbed up, and oh my gosh, he's plucked one out already. That is massive, and it's looking bluish, almost green on the inside. Look at those eggs. He's going in here. He doesn't have a ton of them, but they are hiding, and he has to pluck them out one by one. Wow.
It's
look at
kind
that
of
guy.
flat
Very
like at an
active.
angle, so I'm not sure how to draw it at that
Unlike
angle.
that king crab I got the other day that looked like it was halfway dead. All right, those are the shrimp right there. We're about to prepare them. Sadly, there is only one single shrimp that has eggs inside. Take a look at that, and you can see the individual eggs. I'm going to be eating that in just a moment. Step number 1,
Hold on
he
one
rips
second.
it plumb in half. Looking in the head section over here, it doesn't seem that they enjoyed that, but this is kind of the quickest process to end their life. Wow, savage, but delicious looking at the same time. The next step is to peel the shell
Says
off of each
no
one, but
worries.
we're going to keep it raw. So these right here are ready to eat. These here are destined for the fryer. As soon as they crisp up, we're going to eat those too. Bye,
That's
guys.
my risk for YouTube.
Right here we have our food. I'm told there's a couple more things they're gonna bring. Ah yes, he's brought me a live shrimp that he's placing on top of my beer. 감사합니다. Oh, and they brought some crabs too. 이 서비스? Wow, 감사합니다. Well, service in Korea means something that's on the house. It's like they almost want to thank you for coming and for spending money. Well, why would they want to thank me for that? It might be because this plate, I just found out, costs over $200. The shrimp is very rare, it's difficult to obtain, and so that's why it is so expensive. What's unique about the look is that right from the shell, without being cooked, they actually look kind of cooked first. I want some beer, actually. You can hang out here. Just got it. Nice, now we're all comfortable. Here, the body. I'm gonna put that right here into the soy sauce. Oh, that's really good. How many shrimp do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's like $20 per shrimp. That's wild. We are not gonna let this go to waste. It just needs a little bit of...
Oh my god, it's still alive! He's still alive!
There. What else? What was I saying? The soy sauce gives
Bro,
it a
it's
little
still
bit of salt,
alive.
a little bit of savoriness. The texture of the meat is the best part. It is not sinewy. It's got bite to it, but it's tender and soft at the same time. There's a slight metallic flavor because it's raw. Fascinating and delicious. But we still have this to look forward to right here. So this is the only shrimp I told him not to crack open. I just turned it upside down and you can already see the eggs. They are bluish green, kind of aqua colored eggs. It looks awesome. So I'm gonna use a spoon and try to get as many of them out as I can. It's almost like a sheet connecting them all. Whoa. Let's get a little bit of soy sauce on there. Let's try it out. Shrimpy caviar. It's briny and kind of pop in your mouth. It's a really nice flavor. I love it. All right, I have the shrimp right here. I have the eggs. I'm gonna put on a little bit of soy sauce. This right here is a shrimp to remember. Let's go for it. There's like a little bit of brine brininess from the eggs, but overall, they taste fantastic. Right here, our final course, no eggs, but lots of head. We're not gonna actually eat the shell. We're supposed to rip it open and then eat what's inside. It's like taking a helmet off after a long day on a motorbike. Oh, take a look at that. That's like the biggest shrimp vein I've ever seen in my life. The rest looks good though. Cheers. Sweet, soft, and tender. It's like very fatty, fall apart type of shrimp. I gotta say, that raw shrimp is the best raw shrimp I've ever had in my life. The eggs were epic. Super expensive, super rare, strange, exotic, and delicious.
After spending $200 on shrimp, I could stand to save a few bucks. That's why I'm buying my next meal at a Korean baseball game. But wait, it's not what you think. American stadiums are known for ripping off patrons with $10 hot dogs and $15 beers. But here in Korea, big sports events offer amazing food at incredibly cheap prices. They even have a 7-Eleven inside the stadium. Let's head inside now to see more.
What's wild is I see tons of people here with their own
Says,
drinks,
wait,
beer,
how much
boxes of
was
pizza
that
and
shrimp?
chicken. They're bringing all their own
I have
stuff
no
actually
idea.
into the
I
game.
was
can't
not
believe
paying
that's
attention.
allowed. Scan in, and we're good to go. So that is wild. We just went through a gate like going into a subway station. There's no security, there's no metal detector, there's no drug-sniffing dogs. In the USA, there would just be a lot more hassle to get in. Right here is the stadium. It is quickly filling up right now, and this place is brightly lit up.
Says
highly populated
$200,
with
I
people.
think he said. Yikes.
The game just started. We're gonna find our seat soon. First, I want to get my first meal. Let's go. There are tons of food stalls here and different places to choose from. We've come to the first one that I've seen with a bunch of kind of traditional Korean street foods right here.
The sea belongs to everyone. Gorton's.
Trust the Gorton's fisherman.
We've got odang or
Says,
fish
how's
cakes. Here
your
they have
day?
some
Night
poke
going?
with odang inside. Here
Oh,
they have
pretty
some
good.
kind of fried squid or octopus.
I'm just trying to finish this off. Trying my best to finish this in time. I'm trying to do as fast as possible. That's why I'm not trying to do any hot takes right now.
Here they have octopus, and then here they have ojinga. This is squid. I'm ordering the fried squid. She's cutting it right now, and then she just asked me what kind of sauce I want. I asked for the garlic powder. I've ordered a cup of octopus. Oh, she gives me a container to put everything inside of. 감사합니다. Baseball is happening behind me, and all I care about is what's in front of me right here. This is my first course. At the last minute, I couldn't help it. I had to get one of these. This is a duck poke with odang right here. This was 6,000. Let's start with that. This is a pounded rice cake. It almost looks like a marshmallow. It's so big and thick. Nice and chewy. Throw back some fish. Insanely salty, spicy, and delicious. I love it. This I believe to be octopus. A little seafoody in a good way. Nice and chewy. That's good drinking food. Finally, right here, it looks like some kind of a funnel cake covered in powdered sugar, but no, that is garlic powder on top of fried squid legs. It looks awesome. Oh yeah, insanely crunchy, chewy on the inside. It's salty and sweet at the same time. That's a really nice combination that I did not expect. Listen, you go to New York, you get powdered donuts. You come here to Korea, you get powdered squid. What I can say is all this is making me incredibly thirsty. Time to go grab a beer. If you've ever been to a stadium and thought they didn't have enough options, how about a whole freaking 7-Eleven in the stadium? Here, in the cooler, they have beer. Big tall boys, and check out the price on these. 3,000 won. $2.
$2.25?
That is a ridiculous price. You would pay at least 4 to 6 times that in the USA. Here, if you want to get drunk, you can get drunk.
Dude, $2 for a tall boy beer? Bro. Bro, $2.25, that's unheard of. Pay for us $6 for that. That's wild.
So let's get some of these. Check it out, we found another food right here. This looks awesome. This is jokbal. This is basically pig shanks. It looks delicious. I want to order that. And then right here, they even have blood sausage. This is called sundubu. Sundae. It's called sundae, not sundubu. Sundubu is a soup. Jokbal 하나 주세요. 하고 sundae 하나 주세요. So the price of that is 23,000 won. Now comes the fun part where I actually try to find my seat. 3 too. Right here. Our second course is right here. This is like a whole freaking meal. Right here, we have our blood sausage. Put some spicy sauce in there too. Tell me, which American stadium has blood sausage? I'm gonna go with none of them. All right, here we go. Cheers. Wow, it's so gummy on the inside. That's so strange. It has a little bit of a funky, gamey taste, but not too bad.
That's
Basically
wild,
rice and
man.
blood on the inside with a pig intestine for the casing. Let's give it a little bit of a dip. Super
I can't
salty,
get over
really
that.
spicy.
That's like
That is beer
that's a
food, my
lot.
friend. Luckily,
That's so
I've
cheap.
got a beer. So this is pig foot or pork trotter. You've given me a lot of stuff right here. Some pickled radish, a salad, samjang sauce, and then some chilies right here. This is what I really care about. It's already kind of cooled down. Heavy, fatty, really yummy. It's not really flavorful. It's just a nice texture and like a cold cut. But if you put on a chili, oh, I'm not putting that on. But if you put on some garlic, if you dip it in this sauce, that, my friend, is where you find the magic. Delicious. I never eat raw garlic except for when I'm in Korea, and I love it. My wife, not so much. What's fun about eating here and doing the show at a baseball game is I feel like everyone's cheering for me, like, come on, Sonny, drink more beer. Okay. It's amazing being delusional. I recommend it to everybody. From here, I'm gonna finish up this food. I'm gonna go inside, try to find some more. I'm worried that they're gonna cut off the food halfway through the game. It is kind of like halftime right now, and people have jetted out of the stadium to get more food and bring it back in. Right here, another food option, Loteria. Here you can get an astounding amount of burgers. They have the bulgogi burger, they have the chicken burger, shrimp burger, fire wing chicken, and all of them at pretty reasonable prices. 안녕하세요, 새우 버거 하고
Wait, how much is a burger? Wait, I wanna.
wing for the total price for or pork trotter.
No, fast. No, back up.
It's amazing being we halftime right now, and people have jetted out of the stadium to get more food and bring it back in. Right here, another food option, Loteria. Here you can get an astounding amount of burgers. They have the bulgogi burger, they have the chicken burger.
How much are those?
Burger, fire wing chicken, and all of them at pretty reasonable prices. 안녕하세요, 새우 버거 하고 fire wing. So the total price for that is $17,700. That is for 10 wings and 1 burger.
What? 10 wings and 1 burger is 13 something. That is cheap. That wasn't. Yo, if you had to pay for that in America, that's like $30-40 alone. That's like $30-40. That's wild.
Burger. Everything is already pre-made. The food is right here. If they don't have it in that case, you don't get to have it. Yeah. First of all, take a look at this. This is a 새우 버거. That means shrimp burger.
Bro, that is.
Shrimp burger. Take a look inside. Tons of sauce, lettuce, and a fried shrimp patty. Let's go for it. It's a delicious mayonnaise-y fried shrimp patty. You can't even really tell it's shrimp. It just tastes like a fried hockey puck. Anything is good when you're surrounded by this much enthusiasm and when you have a little bit of a buzz. In Korea, all the baseball teams are named after big brands. LG, Samsung, Lotte. People are literally singing for Lotte. Imagine you're in the USA and you're singing, McDonald's, McDonald's. It's like that. Speaking of fast food,
What?
These are the fire wings. Off the bat, I can
That's a bit bizarre. I'm not gonna lie.
tell you the chicken was cooked a long time ago. It's quite cold, and it feels like it's too wide. Like the crunchy part has separated from the muscle. Let's try it out. Is it fiery? A little fiery. It's not crispy.
Maybe if companies stop shilling for like social justice and start shilling for people who actually chant their names, maybe you do that. That should be your target audience.
At all. A little bit soggy because it's been hanging out. Spicy, super salty, overall satisfying. I cannot believe I'm doing a food review while 10,000 people cheer and sing in unison. What am I doing? Why am I here? Anyways, let's get some more food. Right here, we have a new type of restaurant I've not seen yet. They have like a tofu, wet, sweet skin, and they stuff rice and different stuff inside of it. You can get tuna inside, you can get kimchi inside, you can get egg inside. I'm gonna go with tuna. 안녕하세요. 참치 마요 유무 하나 주세요. Oh, and he's gonna torch it. 3 pieces for 5,500. Yeah. 감사합니다. Check it out. Baseball is still happening. I'm still eating. I've not watched any of the game, if I'm honest, but the score is 2-1. Doosan is beating Lotte. Oh, come on, Lotte, you can do it. Anyways, right here, take a look at this. This beautiful sweet, soft tofu skin used to encase what's inside here. We've got rice, and I asked for the tuna one, but I'm not sure if there's tuna in there. Let's find out. Right here, hard to see, but on the bottom, there's definitely tuna. It tastes like sweet, sugary rice mixed with canned tuna, because that's basically what it is, although I still love it. My only criticism is that this is not a drinking food. When you're drinking beer, you don't want to be eating pounds and pounds of rice. I gotta say, at this point though, I have done more walking and more exercise than these baseball players, because I am zooming all over the place trying to find the best food they have here. All right, I'm getting full. One more round, and then I'm done. I'm running out of space. I can't eat all this food, but I can show you food that exists here. We have Korean famous, legendary corn dogs. It's like a corn dog covered in shake and bake seasoning. Very nice. And then they have a spiral cut potato that's also fried. All this costs around $2-3 each. Not bad at all.
What?
Eat that.
Guys, what?
Potato that's also fried. All this costs around $2-3 each. Not bad at all. But we're not going to eat that.
Tell you something.
So I have enough space for one more food in my stomach, and I'm going with this. This is a classic. Korean fried chicken with a Korean sauce glaze on top. It's spicy, it's sweet, it's delicious. And then this. This is tteokbokki and sausages, but it's been grilled and put on a skewer. Let's order up and eat. 안녕하세요. 이거 하나, 이거 하나. 감사합니다. Here they have a sauce station. We have like a cheese powder. We have ketchup, we have mustard, and then we have a chili sauce. I'm gonna put the chili on one of the chickens. I don't know if it's a mistake or not. And then I'm gonna put some here just in case. Beer Hanaduseo. Look, the beer taps have little baseballs on them. Isn't that fun? 감사합니다. God, after a long day, I love apple juice. So good. One more?
He said one more. That's a lot of food for $3. Look at that, $13. Oh, that's a little. I think that looks a little too small for $13. I'm not gonna lie, that looks a little bit too small because they're like little wedges. So like, but it looks delish. What the hell?
Because after this, I get to actually watch the baseball game. First of all, here, grilled sausage and tteokbokki, already clad in sauce. Look at these little Korean wieners. You can feel it's been there for a while, but you can also feel that you don't care because it's delicious. What I like the most here is tteokbokki. Tteokbokki is so versatile in Korea. They can grill it, they can boil it, they can sear it. It's so simple. Well, all the best things in life are simple. You don't need truffle and French infusions, emulsions. That's all you need. Our last and final food is right here. Now, this is the one I squirted extra sauce on. You have fried chicken and you have fried tteokbokki in here. Cheers. It's crunchy, it's mushy, it's chewy, it's such a satisfying texture. Guys, do yourself a favor. Go to your local Asian grocery store, buy these pounded rice cakes, put them in your food in some way, and you'll be very satisfied. Finally, here, we have this sauced up glazed chicken. It's fried, it's glorious. It's been sitting around for hours. That chicken is just like Steven Seagal. It's a bit stale, it's not crunchy anymore, but the heart is still there. It still knows Jeet Kune Do. It could still probably kick your ass in a fight.
That joke would only land if if kids know, or even young people my age know who Steven Seagal is. I don't think most people my age even know who that is. I honestly don't think most people know who that is. He's an old movie star, action movie star. I would say very loosely on the action. If you watch his movies, you start realizing it's a big sham. But nonetheless.
I lost the analogy somewhere.
Well guys, that's the whole Busan South Korea series. I hope you enjoy, and to be honest, I don't think anyone watches this far into the video. So if you're hearing this now, I'll send $100 to the first person who DMs me on Instagram with the message, Sunny's bandana is definitely not a distraction. Thanks everyone else who survived to the end, and I'll see you next time. A peace.
Guys, before we go, I want to say a huge thank you to Joe right here. Without Joe, this trip would not have been possible. He has facilitated this whole shoot from beginning to end in all the locations we went to. So Joe, thank you so much. You can find more information on Joe here at Wandering Bicycle on YouTube and on Instagram. More information about Busan travel and delicious food that you can find here. Thank you so much, Joe. Peace. All right. It feels good to say it, right? Yeah. Satisfying. Joe hates my show.
Yeah.
He hates my show. Yeah.
Rock out in our threads, feel the thrill of culinary adventures, and celebrate with us in style. Head on over to beffers.shop today.
grow your hair. You're just a bald man. You're just bald. Come to terms with it, and you will start loving thyself. Come to terms with it. You're just a bald guy. Let's see here. Don't judge a manga by its cover. True. Right. I forgot that. Did I answer your question yet, Ari? Or no? Are you still here? I don't know if you're still here. I'm pretty sure you're still here. Do not judge a manga by its cover. Okay. I think mangas are hard to judge by their cover. They usually are looking pretty awesome. It's very rare to like look at a manga cover and be like, no. You might have an idea what it is about, but then again, 9 times out of 10, it's usually a shrouded mystery.
We asked all of you lovely people, what are some of your favorite manga volume covers and some of your least favorite ones? The responses I got back were pretty interesting. There was quite a lot of different answers, different opinions, different things people liked and disliked. So today we're going to go through and rank them out of 10. There's no criteria here. This is kind of just what is appealing to my eye. However, I do think we should talk about what makes a volume cover great. Wow. So let us begin. Do not judge a book by its cover. You've probably heard this saying for many, many years now. It's kind of like the go-to phrase for any sort of book, because you don't want to judge the material of the book by what the cover represents. It's only a slice, a portion, a very small increment of what the book could actually entail. Sometimes the cover itself is completely different. Sometimes it throws you off. Sometimes it represents a deeper part of the story. You just don't know. So judging a book by its cover, really bad. However, as great as that saying is, good volume covers are gonna give better incentive for people to read. If you don't like the look of something, the chances of you picking it up and reading it is even smaller. So in saying that, crafting volume covers comes in all different shapes and sizes. You can take parts out of the story, you can take all of the characters out, you can put certain elements from the story, be it sports or action or the powers, etc., whatever it may be. There's a lot of ways that you can build consistency between the volumes, whether it be artistically, thematically. There's just an endless amount of possibilities. I would say what speaks to me is something stylistic that has a balance between being very artistic with its characters, its background, its color work, and how it kind of all entangles together. If it wants to tell a story in the volume cover, by all means, I'm not going to understand it until I read the story. As long as it's not over-cluttered, overcrowded, or trying to do too many different things that just smash together in the wrong ways, I'm usually really happy with it. Don't get me wrong, there's a beauty in chaos, and if certain artists and authors can wield that chaos, I really love it. The outcome's great, but majority of the time, like 90%, it doesn't really end well. I love art, and I love looking at volume covers and seeing what authors or artists want to put that extra time or mileage into this beautiful experience that they have on the front of their covers. So with that, let us start the ranking.
Sally, your shipment has been delayed. Click the link to track.
Next.
McAfee Plus is like using a lie detector to alert you if a text is a scam. Get all-in-one protection with McAfee Plus.
This is Arjun, very colorful, but instead of the main characters, you have devilish abilities. Unique, interesting, very creative. I enjoy these. As simple and straightforward as it is, I think the draw of it is definitely the different color work on the charcoal devil apparition, but then the differences between those apparitions, like there's spirally ones, one with big teeth, there's ones throwing up hands, there's like this one little fella here with like a little worm face. They're all very enticing, so it like draws your eyes, especially with that background. So I love these. I got a soft spot for them. I would give it 8.5 out of 10. Attack on Titan has some very detailed stuff. It's very story beat heavy, stuff that's quite literally out of the story. So you don't really know what's going on because it's like a whole scene in itself, but I appreciate the effort and the perspective that goes into it. Isayama could have just done characters standing straight on, but he has a wide range of different angles and color color palettes and kind of just telling the moment, like a slice of this moment on the volume cover, which I appreciate. So for me personally, I'm gonna have to give it a 9. Bleach for me is hit or miss. Purposefully designed this way to be very simplistic, very straightforward, completely white background, and that is consistent. And then you have all the characters on the front posed in different ways, of course. To me, some are better than others. They don't really draw much attention for myself. Like, I look at these covers and I think they look great, but that's all I get from it. Kubo just plays with character modeling, really. Just beautiful model work, beautiful artistry for his characters, and that's basically it. So I'd give it like a 7. Pretty straightforward for me. Blue Lock unfortunately has a similar problem to Bleach for myself. Very straightforward, very simple. It's got a bit more variety.
6.5. I will call 6.5 for Blue Lock's colors. I mean, not just the colors are okay, but like the overall vision just looks kind of basic. I'll give it a 6.5.
With its colors, the same character poses and modeling. So I'd probably give it a comfortable 7.5. Blue Period for me is like the evolution of what Bleach and Blue Lock does. So it's simple white backgrounds with all the characters involved, but they're interacting with the actual cover itself. So they're doing their own little artsy style that is representative usually of the character, and it just feels very intuitive. You 100% know instantly when I look at this. I basically know what this character is about, I know what the story is about, and I love that. I would give this, honestly, a strong 9. I absolutely adore Call of the Night's volume covers. I think they're super straightforward, like color palette wise, there's very interesting choices, but the character designs and the modeling itself is super, super gorgeous, like very expressive, very interesting angles and body parts being moved around. So you're not getting like simple character poses with people just looking at you. They're all contorted and twisted in very interesting ways with a nice backdrop behind it too. I'd give Call of the Night an 8.5. Chain Soldier. This was very much highly recommended. I don't really have many words for this. Pretty straightforward. Obviously the artwork's nice, but standard backgrounds. There's a character slapped on there. I'd give it like a 7. Chojin X, I'm gonna be biased here because look at it. These are compelling in their own right. This is like going simplistic, but like the opposite direction of being artsy. Every single volume speaks something entirely different, and it doesn't really give you all too much, but it's intriguing enough to want you to pick it up. Beautifully designed and conceptualized, but still not giving all too much away. It sparks that mystery and intrigue. Again, bias, I'm giving it like 9.5. Chainsaw Man, straightforward, also very biased. Straight off the bat, 9.5 as well. Dun I enjoy, but not the biggest fan of. I appreciate that there's 2 characters on the cover and not just one. Very straightforward, very safe. There are so many crazy covers that this author could create, trust me. For this, I'd give it like a 7.5 or an 8. Death Note, super pretty. Unfortunately, they do follow the same formula. It's kind of the whole point with the cross in it. Perfectly okay. I would have loved a bit more variety, but I do appreciate the change in color palette and some different tweaks here and there. So, but I'd give it like a solid 8.5. I haven't read Dorohedoro, so like looking at a good bunch of these, I'm like, what's even going on? Gritty, grotesque, disgusting in like all the good ways. I'm looking at it and I'm intrigued. I want to read it because I'm like, what am I looking at? Pretty messed up from what I've heard. For that, I'd give it like an 8.5. Fire Punch for me is pretty basic. I love the artwork within it, but there's not much variety. They're all kind of samey. Color work is beautiful. Character work is beautiful. So I'd give it like a solid 8. Now Haiku on the other hand, it has range. The only consistent thing about it is the white background. There's so much variety in here just from like angles and perspectives and the amount of characters. You have 1 to 5, sometimes a whole team, like just so much motion going in everywhere. 8.5. Hell's Paradise, I enjoy. Similar to Fire Punch, they're very samey. A lot of beautiful artwork, a lot of beautiful color work, but playing it genuinely pretty safe. So I would probably give them like an 8.5, maybe an 8. I have not read JoJo, but just looking at the volume cover, the only complaint that I would have for some of them is that it's very clustered. Like it's all over the place. It's very hard to even kind of understand what I'm meant to be looking at. 9 to mid 9. Kanji number 8, straightforward, very simple, not all too much to say about it. I like the character work, but 7s, maybe to an 8. All right, One Piece, love-hate relationship. Don't smite me for it. On one hand, I enjoy what Oda does. I think there's a lot of creativity within his volume covers. But on the other side, that's very close to it, they're very cluttered. They're very over the top. Sometimes he's fitting like 10 to 20 characters in a singular page. I don't know how he does that, but I'd put it in the 9s as well. I haven't read Platinum End, but the cover's absolutely gorgeous. Pure artistry, beautiful color work. You know, you can expect that from Death Note's artist 9 as well. Easy. When it comes to Sakamoto Days, I would say they have the strongest volume covers out of Weekly Shonen Jump currently. Just off the top of my head with what I can think of. Covers are gorgeous. Characters are crisp, color work, different variety of like modeling and poses. It's very dynamic. Easily 9 for me, even 9.5. Here comes my bias again, Tokyo Ghoul. I like these covers. I actually think they're relatively safe. This is like the older art style for Ishida, so I have an appreciation for the style, but also think he's done a lot better. So I'd give these like an 8. Tokyo Ghoul Re is where I feel like he really shined. When it comes to the artistry, there's different art styles being implemented in here, and it's super unique to look at. I would give this a 9. Vagabond, very iconic. Inoue is just an incredible artist, so he can draw anything and it's going to look good. So these are like automatically a 9. Now we've gone through the recommendations, but I picked out 3 of my favorites. First one, Goodbye Eri. This singular volume cover is so enticing to me. It's gorgeous. I don't know what else to say. I'm giving it a 10. A Trail of Blood, the progression from volume 1 to the final volume is basically tells a story in itself. A lot of people aren't gonna feel the same way, but I'd give this like a 9.5 to 10 as well. Like it's like taking a picture. Lastly, and arguably my favorite volume covers, at least one of them, Nana. I genuinely think, hands down, Nana has some of, if not the best volume covers in the industry. Color work, the rendering, how dynamic and creative everything feels. Like this too is like taking a picture of a moment and slapping it on the volume cover. I think this is quite literally the perfect volume covers. 10 out of 10, 100%. Welcome to the end of the video. If you've made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you. Leave a like and subscribe, that'd be nice. Also, check out some of these videos here. The more you watch, the more YouTube recommends me. YouTube likes it, I like it, you might enjoy the video. It's a win-win all round. Anyway, let me know what your favorite volume cover is. I'd love to hear it, and I will see you all later.
Let me put this.
These are the people who help you stay well, searching lower prices and brands you love on the shelves, behind the counter or in the aisles. Healthier's better when it happens together. CVS Pharmacy. Healthier happens together.
It's your anniversary today. You could have arrived empty-handed, but you exist in a world.
The story starts with this 8-year-old boy named Ash who realized that books were the one thing that connected people and their ideas, and he also knew that throughout the history the books were always tried being destroyed by those with power. And I didn't even start recording and I already had a brain like trying to say this sentence. Is this even grammatically correct? I don't know, but Ash was also aware that there were those that protected the books with either hiding them or burying them in the ground. However, there was one mortal enemy to the books that was still aggressive towards them as it constantly sought their destruction, and it was time. I mean, honestly, time is not only the enemy of books, but basically of everything that is alive, even not alive. Now, it was this battle that our protagonist wanted to help fight. And honestly, I already like the premise of this manga. So far, so good. Now we see our protagonist excitedly running through the village and impatiently calling for the local priest, Father Folky, and not too long after, Ash barged into Folky's house, asking him to let him read a book. Folky was just woken up by our protagonist and feeling a little bit moody as he still had a headache. When he saw our protagonist, he immediately recognized him to be the son of a guy called David, and then Ash told him that he just wanted to read a book. Folky definitely had a library full of books, but he grumpily wondered what Ash would get from reading a book in the middle of nowhere, and Ash quickly agreed with him, adding that he just wanted to read it for fun, as the reality was just too much for him, and he needed something like a book to make him escape it for a moment. at last. This passion in our protagonist really caught Folky off guard, and then our protagonist continued by saying that he realized the beauty of books during the reading session that they were invited by the village head's wife, and now he knew that he couldn't bear this miserable life in the village without the joy of books. Folky's head hurt even more with Ash shouting about, and just before he decided on letting him read something, to his utter shock, he discovered that our protagonist couldn't even read, which made no sense. What the hell, bro? But Ash explained that he first wanted Priest Folky to teach him how to read, as that was his duty anyway, as a priest assigned to their village by the royal capital. However, Folky had no intention of doing so, and so the only option for our protagonist was to borrow a book from the priest, and Folky was reluctant to do so since he was afraid that our protagonist would damage them, but Ash passionately made a convincing argument that the books would get destroyed by time eventually anyways, adding that as the books he had wouldn't be read that much anyways, it was better if he could lend him a book. Folky was quite impressed with how good with words our protagonist was, but he still did have his doubts, and so Ash told him that he would do his best to memorize the letters from the book. The priest said that it was too difficult, and so Ash told him that he could just give him the scriptures he usually reads during the sermons or his public speeches, as he was already familiar with those, and Folky thought that since he had a script that he personally wrote, he didn't care much if it got damaged, and so he handed that to our protagonist, who was extremely happy with it. Ash then opened up a script and asked the priest to tell him what one sentence meant, and even though the priest was reluctant to do so, since Ash just said that he would do it himself, he read that line, which our protagonist recognized to be the same line that Folky would often read during his sermons. The priest had enough of him, so he chased him away, telling him that he already did his part, and just a bit later, we see our protagonist going back home, thinking to himself that he finally started his journey to make his life a bit more interesting. We then learned that our protagonist, who was born in this rural village called Naskola, he had one very special thing about him, and it was the fact that he had these memories from his past life, and even though these memories weren't very clear, the one strong impression Ash had from them was that his previous life was much more convenient than the life in the village now, where now they didn't even have things like combustion engines, fertilizers, and things that would make their life a bit easier, and all they could do to survive was with hard physical work, where even our protagonist as an 8-year-old had to contribute. And the worst of all was the fact that since he was aware that things could be better, just like in his previous life, this life became that much less bearable in comparison, and boredom was killing him, but now finally he found himself a great source of fun. But before anything, Ash was aware that he first had to—
This is boring. I can't. I'm sorry. Do you guys feel bored by this story? I could find a different story. This is just boring. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this way, but it feels boring. Like, I thought it was going to get interesting, but as far as it going, it just sounds like a nerd.
Have returned again.
It just sounds like a nerd who just happens to be in the anime. It's just like, what is this? Oh my god. Forcing myself to read. Yeah, it's pretty boring. Like, I thought I was gonna get somewhere. It was not getting anywhere. I was like, bro, I don't care if you like books.
Looking for bladder leak protection
Like,
that
I want some
neutralizes
monsters.
odors and
Kill
keeps
something.
you
I don't
dry?
know.
Try
Something.
New Depend.
So if there's a way for me to somehow
Yeah,
describe the
pretty
difference
It was just bothering me.
between manga and manhwa, is that manga is a medium of Japanese comic books that are usually drawn in black and white, can be great, strange, beautiful, and anything that's left for the imagination, while manhwa, on the other hand, is a little bit of a different experience. Most of it's from Korea, usually drawn in color, and kind of designed in a way that's meant to be a digital experience. Rather than flipping through a page, you're supposed to kind of scroll through the story, which surprisingly makes it feel very different. But if there is one thing that really separates the two, It would be that there's a manhwa called Bang. Now, I'm gonna be fully honest, I've read just about one manhwa in my entire life, and I wanted today to be the day where I changed that. I wanted to really understand manhwa. I wanted to dive into this weird medium and stand alongside my Korean homies to really see where all this hype was coming from. And I figured the best way to go about this was to ask you guys for some recommendations, because it's not like my viewers have a history.
What is truly the difference? It's just the difference because one's coming from Korea and the other one is just from Japan. Is that just literally it? That's what makes it a manhwa, is just not from Japan. It just comes from Korea, South Korea, I guess. Is that it? It's like it's kind of weak. I thought there was like a significant difference between the two, but I don't think there isn't. And I guess one has color and the other one prefers not to use color. I guess, I don't know. It's a weird one, I think.
Of recommending me either hentai garbage or things that are a complete waste of my time, right? Okay, why do I feel like you guys are gonna make me read this? So here's how it went down. Just like the last one, I made a community post saying that I'll be reading anything that you guys recommend to me. And I wanted to put a lot of emphasis on the word anything. If I'm gonna read manhwa, I want the whole picture. I want the good, the bad, the weird, and the unhinged. However, for my own sanity, I made it so that I'll only be reading the first 5 chapters. 10 of them were picked at random on a stream, 10 of them were picked by chat through a spin the wheel game, and 5 of them were picked based on whatever recommendations I felt like came up most frequently. Now here's the thing, right? The post had 2,000 submissions, and the amount of times I had to read the phrase "not a manhwa but" has genuinely made me go insane. The other thing is that there were so many comments that were like, "Hey, you should read this. It gets good after 300 chapters." Wow.
No, that is a terrible way to get someone to watch something. That is dumb. That doesn't make any sense. It gets good after 300 plus chapters. I hate those type of responses. Oh, okay, chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 10, but it was like One Piece levels of it's gonna get good. I'm like, no, bro.
That's so interesting. I didn't know that half of you guys
Either you're a crappy writer. I think you're a crappy writer when it takes you that long to get to the best parts.
were literally blind. Hell's Paradise! This guy said Hell's Paradise! I said manhwa! Anyhow, here's the final list of all the manhwas that I'll be reading. Honestly, if I like them enough, I might read the whole thing. And if I hate it enough, then there's a total possibility that I might just load up Train Simulator 3. But before we get into reading any of the manhwas, I'm gonna tell you about the sponsor of this video. Do you ever come across this problem where every time you browse through the internet, you start to feel like someone might be watching you? Do you ever feel like Netflix kinda sucks in your country? Do you ever feel shame about your search history? Don't lie. I've seen your dirty ass history, Nathan. Well, I just want to let you... Alex, back to the video. Alright, so this first recommendation is going to be from Ploxin, and they asked me to check out a manhwa called Omniscient Reader. To be honest, I feel like I'm going to have very high expectations for this one because it was a very, very, very popular suggestion. So I'll credit this one to Ploxin, but honestly, I've been getting recommended this since like forever ago.
Says hi, bro.
Okay, I'm convinced this author's a genius. So you've got this guy named
Hey, Luke, what's going on, bro? Nothing but miss. I hope you're doing well. Thank you. I hope you're doing awesome.
Kim, who for the past 10 years has been reading a web novel called 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse, or as he likes to call it, Tuwasa. But here's the thing, right? Tuwasa is actually a terrible novel, and what proves this is that the only person on the planet that's even reading this story is our boy Dokja. He's obsessed with it. All he does is wait for a new chapter to come out, and literally nothing else. No aspirations, no social life, no job, no bitches, no... But then literally out of nowhere, a bunch of strange events start happening as soon as this chapter gets released. News outlets start freaking out, people are dying, natural disasters keep occurring, and everybody's losing their shit. But Dokja has a moment with himself where he starts to realize something. These strangely specific events are awfully similar to what happens in the very first chapter of this web novel. He's not too sure yet, you know, because that sounds fucking ridiculous, but then suddenly he starts to notice that some of the people on this train are literally the main characters from the web novel. And this becomes the moment where Dokja Kim realizes two things. One, it is the end of the fucking world, and two, he is literally the only person on the planet who knows exactly what's about to happen. Genius! This author is a genius!
Learning the hard way. Okay.
So this next recommendation comes from just a JoJo fan, and they said I should check out a manhwa called Learning the Hard Way. When I randomly picked this one, chat fucking lost it, and I got really confused because apparently this manhwa is actually called Learning the Hard Way. Not Learning the Hard Way, Learning the Hard... It's hentai. By the way, can we just acknowledge that it's been 2 seconds into this video and somebody has already recommended porn? And I just want to make something clear because maybe I didn't explain this very well in the last video, but I'm not here to make fun of the person that submits these recommendations. I just find it hilarious that my mom asks me every day, "So Alex, what are your videos about?" And I have to look at her in the eyes and say, "Books, Mom. They're just about books." So Learning the Hard Way is about this dude who's got the personality of a Rust player that gets bullied by this one girl. And then by some magical fucking circumstances, he ends up being hired as her tutor. And instead of doing any form of tutoring at all, to no one's surprise, they end up doing fast.
Skipping that.
Stressed out? Time to refresh your rhythm with Trident.
Much as I don't want to.
Sounds like a high school.
So this recommendation is going to come from Mr. Slugman, and he asked me to read a manhwa called Overpowered Sword. I'll be back in 5 chapters, maybe more chapters, maybe less chapters. Maybe I just end the video right now. Right, so you've got these two dudes. One of them is handsome and good at just about everything, while the other dude is grumpy and not blonde and gets no bitches and is mediocre in every aspect. And the fight record between these two is like 0 to 45 trillion. And so then one night our homie gets really upset about that and realizes that while he's sleeping on the floor of a shithole, the other dude is having the time of his life. So he says about 50 times, life is unfair. And in the same way that 10-year-olds used to go to their bathroom and say Bloody Mary, him saying life is unfair over and over again somehow ends up summoning a great sword from the heavens. And the sword's like, "I will make you strong." And the guy's like, "Please, make me strong." And the sword's like, "Very well, I shall give you strength." And the dude's like, "Actually, as a matter of fact, I don't want it. I must earn my strength." And the sword's like, "Congratulations, I was actually testing you just now, and you passed the test, and I shall give you strength." And so there I was thinking to myself, wow, this story is corny squared cubed -7. But after this, I felt like there was a bit of charm to this really cheesy story. The first thing the sword does to make him stronger is that he forces him to train his eyes. Yes, you heard that correctly. He makes him train his eyes, and it makes everyone around him feel
Excalibur.
Says wow.
Excalibur.
Says Excalibur, Excalibur.
Excalibur. Dance, dance, dance.
Feel extremely uncomfortable. That on top of the fact that the art style is just pretty as shit and gets so over the top, I feel like by the end of it, I started to realize that the author's kind of in on the joke. And if there's one thing that I'm starting to notice right away about manhwa, it's the use of camera blur and motion blur, which I feel like rarely ever gets used in manga, although sometimes it's a little bit overdone. Like, I don't think you need lens flares for a classroom, but still would recommend. It's cheesy, it's funny, and the more you read it, the more you realize this guy is actually way more than just a pretty face. Next! The next recommendation is going to be from Real Mozzie, who said I should read Seasons of Blossom. I'll be back in a couple of seconds, although for me it's actually a lot more than a couple of seconds, but for you, you wouldn't even notice. As a matter of fact, nobody ever notices any effort I put into these videos.
Plus Ultra.
It's a high school romance. He likes her, but she likes him, and she also likes this other dude, but her friend also likes that other dude, and that dude is shy, while the other dude is handsome, and I couldn't give less of a shit. Don't get me wrong, this has absolutely amazing writing. I love the fact that while reading this manhwa, you get to play a game of reading between the lines. Everything they're saying has double, triple, quadruple meaning behind it. They're saying things that they don't really mean because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. They're emotional. They're confused because they're freshmen in high school. And the reason why I don't care is because they're freshmen in high school. And apart from these obvious disclaimers I'm going to put on the screen, if you want to write a manhwa that I'm supposed to relate to, then I'm going to need a story about a 22-year-old that's about to graduate college and has zero clue as to where he belongs in the world. So this recommendation came from Moog on Moog, and they asked me to read a manhwa called Ember Knight. This one's another really, really highly demanded one, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, for this one, you are probably gonna have to put on your thinking cap because this manhwa simultaneously has both the coolest but also the most confusing premise ever. You have two identical twins. One of them is incredibly strong and named Na-jin, while the other one is extremely smart and named Na-gyun. The strong one gets murdered, and the smart one decides to blend in as the strong one to try to find out who's the killer. So Na-gyun has now committed to spending the rest of his life pretending to be Na-jin. Are you following so far? Now imagine that you're Na-gyun and suddenly a random girl approaches you and greets you thinking that you're Na-jin. But the only thing is that she greets you with this face, which can imply so many different things. It could mean that she knows something, it could mean that she's untrustworthy, or it could just be how she normally looks all the time. But since you're not the real person, you don't know that. And it's up to Na-gyun to determine within just a few seconds if A, Na-jin used to have a good relationship with this person or not, B, how would his twin brother respond to this, and C, if this person actually believes he's Na-jin or not. And if he messes up even once, it'll completely give away his identity. Now, this exact scenario is what it's like for every single decision that Na-gyun makes. It is an entire manhwa of one person meticulously calculating every lie that they make, simultaneously using this to find out who murdered his actual brother. This manhwa is basically like if King from One Punch Man was a detective from Sherlock Holmes. It is such an amazing read. I give it a 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10. I got such a massive dopamine rush from
this must be funny. I don't know if it's supposed to be funny, because that sounds funny. Because if he's using a comparison to someone like King from One Punch, this must be funny in some form. Even though it's kind of a dark sense of a pretty dark premise in a slight way, but like it's funny.
Reading the story. The other thing that I've noticed about manhwa so far is that it feels like there's way more emphasis on each individual panel. It's kind of hard to not notice it once you've read Ember Knight because the action paneling is just that good. For manga, it's kind of up to you to guide your eyes through each of the pages, while for manhwa, you can't really do that. You have to scroll through the panels one by one, which I think leads to manhwa in general having a lot less dialogue and more emphasis put on the tension that you're supposed to feel. And I know there's going to be a bunch of comments calling me dumb for just having noticed that, and to that I have to say, you are correct. So I'm gonna be fully honest, I didn't even know what BL was until I did this stream where I was picking out all the manhwas.
And what would you ask?
I would like to meet the animators who work on the Sakuga stuff. I think the one who works on My Hero Academia or people from Mappa. I think the any dude who works on My Hero Academia fight scenes, especially the fight scene between Midoriya and what's his name? Midoriya versus Overhaul.
Let's Google what does BL stand for. What does BL stand for? Bad luck. What is bad luck and bottom line. Oh, boy love. Oh. Hey guys, we fucking yo. What I said earlier, I try and pretend to be gay.
Okay, got it.
No, we're not going to be talking about that. Because I noticed something with the AI on TikTok. When it hears the word that, it gets mad. When it's said more than 2 or 3 times, it gets mad. I don't know why. You don't have to say it in a rude way or in a bad way. The fact that it hears it more than 3 times, it gets mad. I don't know why. And I get like a restriction. So as soon as I hear that word, I just stop it because it's going to be like, And besides, I don't read boys love because that's not something that interests me. And I don't think most of my audience care for that. Maybe some of you do, especially the women.
Okay, so I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to feel about this next recommendation. Since like forever ago, I've been getting asked to read this manhwa called Killing Stalking, and what scares me to shit are the reactions that are followed up by it. I either get warned or told good luck. For me personally, I feel like it can't be that bad. In my time of making YouTube videos, I've come across a lot of weird shit, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Wish me luck, I guess. This is the worst thing. Alright, this one's gonna be from Kraken Core, and they asked me to check out Elicid. This.
They're just trying to say Elfin lied or something.
I think this one probably deserves the award for most wholesome story on the fucking planet. This dude is like if you combine the personality of Tanjiro with a corgi. The man was basically about a guy with electric powers saving the world with a fat cat as a sidekick. There were definitely times where I felt like I needed to do some push-ups to make up for how fucking cute it got at certain points. Definitely approve. I liked it a lot. Next! This recommendation came from Sandro Zancaliani, and rather than asking, I'm pretty sure they threatened me to read a manhwa called Bastard. So for my own safety, I think I'm gonna go check it out. So I feel like I'm starting to notice that there's two types of stories that you most commonly see in manhwa. The first category should be called Antisocial Dude Lives in an RPG, and then I'm gonna call the second category Talented Korean Artist Draws Their Deepest and Darkest Thoughts. And I think I know which one Bastard falls under. So there's this little kid who has a tutor come over to help him with school. As he's watching a bit of TV, the tutor tells him that they should probably get back to studying. So then the kid goes to the bathroom, as you would, grabs a sledgehammer, as you would, and then proceeds to fucking murder her. As you would. And maybe at this point you might be asking yourself, why exactly did he do that? Well, all I'm gonna say is that something gets revealed in chapter 4. This was my actual live reaction to it, and it is just about the biggest plot twist I think I've ever read in my fucking life. The next recommendation is going to be from Ecole, and they asked me to read a manhwa called The World's Best Engineer. I'm not going to lie, this title kind of just sounds like what my parents wish I was. So this one's another fantasy RPG isekai type of story, but I actually didn't mind it this time because it has nothing to do with combat. As a matter of fact, it's actually a lot more confusing than that. So let me help with a bit of context here. The main character, Suho Kim, gets reincarnated as the prince of a royal family. In a previous life, he was just another everyday construction worker, but for reasons we don't really know yet, he takes over the body of a douchey aristocrat, a manipulative piece of shit that no one liked. Not his family, not the townspeople, and not even his own servant. Which leads to a bit of an emotional conflict, because Suho Kim is not that same douchebag. He's just a nice dude that likes mechanical engineering. So he quickly makes the adjustment to this life-altering event and decides that he's gonna make it his mission to gain the approval of this town. He decides that he's gonna help people by fully making use of that engineering brain he's got. But here's the main issue with that. The previous dude was actually such a piece of shit that no one's buying this change of heart. And so what entails from this manhwa is basically a guy trying to manipulate everyone into thinking that he's that same douchebag, when secretly he's actually trying to do good for the people of this town. I didn't think I'd ever like a premise like that, but I actually ended up reading another 50 chapters after this. Part of it is because Suho Kim ends up using a giant gerbil as a cat construction machine, and the other part is because of the hilarious bromance between him and his servant. Sometimes I'm not even sure if you could consider it a bromance, but I highly recommend it. Great read. Next! So this person by the name of No Face Collects recommended to read a manhwa called The Beginning After the End. Okay, so we've got another fantasy RPG isekai manhwa. It's fine, I understand the appeal, it's pretty to look at and all, but like, I don't mean to ask this as an insult, I'm genuinely just wondering here, but isn't this literally just Mushoku Tensei without the pedophilia?
Bro, come on, man.
Okay, the next recommendation came from someone named Wolffox Dragon, who left this really ominous comment about a manhwa called Blood Bank. I don't really know what the fuck they mean by this, but we're about to find out. This next one's gonna come from Young Lee, and they asked me to read The Boxer. I think out of all the names that we've listed so far, this one's probably the #1 most popular one. I just said the word one twice. So I'm not gonna lie, this is actually not the first time that I've tried reading The Boxer. Almost 2 years ago, I've attempted to give this story a shot and just couldn't really understand it. And I think there were two big reasons for that. The first reason was because I was in my early days of reading anything related to these mediums. I think my only reference to manga at the time was like Pun Pun and Chainsaw Man. And then the second reason was probably because I just didn't fully understand the point of manhwa. But now that I've gotten the chance to make a video like this and expose myself to a lot more of this medium, it's actually helped me appreciate this story in ways that I couldn't understand before, especially because at its core, it's a manhwa that both metaphorically and physically fights between the ideas of talent and hard work. I've mentioned this 50 times in previous videos, but I've pretty much spent my whole life playing sports, all the way to even my sophomore year of college. And because of that, it's made me the way that I am now. Anatomically speaking, I am 100% made out of a competitive bone. And it's for those reasons that I've come to fall in love with stories like Haikyuu, Blue Period, Blue Giant, Slam Dunk, and Real. To me, they feel like an honest reflection of the highest highs you feel from the world of competition, but also the lowest of lowest of lowest lows. And now that I've read The Boxer, I think I can happily add this story to that list. It displays the 3 most common paths that people take in the world of sports through the lens of these 3 characters. It's also got some of the best fight choreography I've ever seen, and most important of all, it's got heart. Fucking incredible read. This one comes from Johnny Sin Sal, and they asked me to read Viral Hit. This is a manhwa about 2 kids that try to become YouTubers by recording themselves beating the shit out of each other. And the first video they upload gets 10 million views. My DMs are open.
That just kind of, that does sound funny. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a big funny, but it's just something to think to yourself. It's just a dumb premise for it to work. That's just dumb.
This recommendation is going to be from Wasabi, and they wanted me to read Sweet Home. So honestly, reading this manhwa brought out the most random ass memory that I didn't even know I had in me. Back when I was 11 years old, I remember seeing this one webcomic that went by the name of Bong Cheon Dong Ghost. There's a point where I saw basically every famous YouTuber do a live reaction to it, and looking back on it now, I'm pretty sure this was actually my first ever experience with a webcomic. It was this really short story that went along the lines of this schoolgirl that was walking back to her home in the middle of the night. She meets this random ass figure that was walking out by the sidewalk, and then this was the moment that made everyone, including myself, piss their pants.
Oh my god, my fucking legs.
Now, I had completely forgotten that whole thing ever happened until I started reading this manhwa and realized that it was giving me that exact same feeling, that sensation of genuine fear every time I was scrolling through the page. It's this story about a group of survivors that are doing everything it takes to live through another day of the apocalypse. And what you'll come to understand from the get-go in this story is how insignificant humans are to these creatures. I watched people get squashed like fucking cranberries. I think this is the type of story where you get to see the medium of manhwa paneling being used to its strengths, to an extent where I can do nothing but applaud this author for being evil enough to slowly build up some of the best parts of the story. It didn't take me until a couple chapters for me to realize that this is actually the same guy who made Bastard, which all makes a lot more sense now. It is such a chef's kiss to what manhwa is capable of. That on top of the fact that this story has a huge cast of characters that you'll come to love. After recording this segment, I proceeded to lay in bed and binge read this manhwa for another 6 hours, which I'm pretty sure led me to developing carpal tunnel by the end of it due to how much scrolling I was doing. So far, this one's the best one. 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10, 15.
Wait, what? Yeah, that's the whole point of this whole thing. That was the whole point. That was the whole point. Before I even say this is close to done, there's one thing I need to check. So, let me check something. Something doesn't seem right. No. And then if I wait. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna... Wait, what? No, I want the... Whatever.
50 out of 10. I don't give a fuck. Alright, this one came from Infected Sands, and he wanted me to read... Okay. Anna Rusamana... Holy fuck, man. Okay, listen, maybe it's a bit too early for me to say this, but this manhwa quite literally might be the most creative thing. The art style will change from cutouts to patterns to paper to mystical fucking concepts that I don't even understand. Just speaking purely from an artistic perspective, I have nothing but the utmost respect for people that are willing to do the weirdest things to tell a story. If you've seen any of my previous videos before, you know that's my favorite thing to look at. This teenage girl who struggles with poverty learns about the wonders of magic, and it makes this an experience that you wouldn't be able to find it in any other medium. I think this is where manhwa really shines. At its worst, I think it tries too hard to replicate the experience of a normal comic, but it's at its best when it does its own thing, when it's really willing to use the format of a webcomic to its fullest potential. I completely take back what I said. I refuse to mispronounce the name of this manhwa ever again. It is called fucking... Okay. Anara Sumanara. This next recommendation comes from John, and he asked me to read Overgeared. So you've got a dude that gets put into a video game, starts from level 1, but has level 3 trillion armor. That's the whole joke of the manhwa. There's magic, there's swords, there's monsters, and the art is very pretty, and if that sounds like your thing, then that's your thing, but it's not my thing. To be honest, I feel like I kind of scratched that itch with solo leveling, and have never felt the need to care for another antisocial dude becomes cool in an RPG type of story. So honestly, it's just not for me. And the next recommendation comes from GTME, and they asked me to read SSS Class Suicide Hunter. I'll be back in a couple of seconds. Antisocial guy gets put into a video game, and in the video game, he becomes super cool. There's magic, there's swords, there's monsters, and the art is very pretty. I feel like I scratched my itch with solo leveling, and have never felt any... Next recommendation is from Samurai, and they said I should check out a manhwa called Player. Anti-social guy gets put into a video game, and in the video game he becomes like really, really cool. And
Oh my god, this has to stop. This is a dumb trope, yo. This is not a cool trope anymore. This is literally lame. Is anyone not noticing a strange pattern from this? Like, this is not even a pattern. It's kind of obvious at this point now. Since SAL, this just has to stop. Jesus Christ, it's not that, like, come on, man. Can we, like, avoid the isekai nonsense where it's just some loser who happens to be lucky enough to go to a different world? It's just, that gets tiring so fast. It's like MCU stuff. Is it really, like, you know what? I'm not even gonna be mad. One thing I learned about the Asians, they tend to cater to their audience really well. So I can't even be mad at them. Because for all you know, people might be still buying these books and really enjoy these isekai like clones. They must really like them, because if you keep making them, people keep buying it. So it can only be produced if the people are buying it, right? So like, it can't be, it has to be, like, I guess we Americans have like a fatigue. We get fatigued after a while, but I guess when a premise really speaks to the audience, it stays. Because it's just getting annoying now. Like, this is getting ridiculous. Like, honestly, I do not like the whole isekai premise anymore. It was kind of cool at one point, but like after the first 2 anime, they all kind of the same damn thing. They may have like a different twist from each other, but it's getting to a point where it's just like, Christ, can we just like not do this? Like, please? Like, can we have something new? Or it doesn't have to be something brand new. We can have something generic, but not the same type of story every time. Like, this is boring. It's like almost MCU nonsense. Like, it's like Isekai is like the girl boss in like movies. It just keeps popping up and no one cares. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Keep saying the phrase, I want to be a main character. This is like the 6th time I've heard someone say, I want to be a main character. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Do actual human beings talk like that? If I were to unironically refer to someone as a main character, I think I'd actually get sent to a mental asylum. Okay, this next recommendation is from Emotions, and they said I should check out a manhwa called The Returner's Magic Should Be Special. Now, I don't want to judge a book by its cover, but if this is another RPG manhwa, I'm gonna fucking lose it. If I have to read another RPG video game manhwa, I am purchasing Train Simulator 3. Wow, this is kind of nice.
This is dumb.
Okay, listen. Can I just make one request? Can I please ask that this next manhwa be amazing? Don't get me wrong. Some of the ones that we've read so far have been incredible. But I'd really, really like for this next one to be one of those. Is that too much to ask for? Why did the music stop? Hello? Is anyone there?
Oh no!
So, I read the first 5 chapters, and I can now confirm that he does indeed end up doing that. That is what the story is about. That's what was implied by the title, and after having sat down and read it for myself, I have now obtained the information that he does indeed bang his arm. This one came from Mudakip, and they asked me to read Cheese in the Trap. I genuinely think one of the hardest things to do is be able to organically write human conversations, and this story does it so well to a point where it's almost scary. It's a manhwa about anxiety disguised as a romance drama, and I think this one hits a little bit too close to home because you can tell how often the main character worries about what other people are thinking at all times, almost to an extent where you can see how destructive it is to her day-to-day relationships, and then that destruction leads to more overthinking, and then believe it or not, their overthinking leads to even more overthinking, and before you know it, everything's on fire. Nobody likes you, and you become like this weird ball of emotions that feel trapped within itself, and I don't find this relatable. Alright, this one came from Artist001, and they asked, not some vague-ass comment that says the word read and then blank. This is like the most frequent thing that I get told under my videos, and I don't know what to do with that. Like, you don't even put a description or a summary or a reason for me to check it out. You just say read and then the name of a title. That'd be like me going up to a stranger and telling them, hey, make a burger. Like, why would I do that? Okay, this manhwa somehow managed to make biking go from looking like this to genuinely the coolest thing ever. I don't know how one can do that, but they did that. Good read, I'd highly recommend. The next one came from Hamid Alam, and he asked me to read Her Summon. Even more specifically, he said that I will not regret it. I've regretted a lot of things today, so I really hope that statement lives up to the expectations. Okay. So, like, remember when I said that there's 2 types of manhwa? This is somehow both. You've got an antisocial guy who gets put into another world. And not just any type of world, he gets put into one where his sidekick is a lolly wizard. This has every flavor of dog shit on the menu. And when something like that happens, one would assume that it'd be a bad manhwa. But I hate to say this, and believe me, I really, really don't want to admit what I'm about to say, but this manhwa is actually absurdly good. Way too good for its own sake. I don't even know how the fuck this author was able to make every single panel in this manhwa literal wallpaper quality art. It is so beautiful in the ugliest way possible. I am not a reviewer. Everything I just previously complained about is in this manhwa. I'm fully aware of that. I'm just as confused as you are. And maybe this is a good time to acknowledge the fact that a lot of people like to say that I lose my credibility whenever I share my thoughts on something, which to that I have to ask the question, when the fuck did I ever have any credibility to begin with? The last recommendation came from Johan, and they wanted me to read Helper. And I'm just gonna say it from the get-go, this manhwa is fucking perfect. I read the entire thing in the span of one night. The art style, the paneling, the action, the dozens upon dozens of characters that you'll grow to love. It is the definitive webcomic out of anything that I've talked about today. From stories like Ember Knight and the Boxer, I came to appreciate the paneling experience of manhwa when I read Anara Sumanara. Yes, I did that. I got to see how far this medium can go with its strange artistic directions. When I read the likes of Sweet Home and Omniscient Reader, I came to understand what it's like to be fully immersed within one of these stories. And I genuinely think that Helper is the amalgamation of all of these things. If there is one manhwa out of all of these that I absolutely think you need to read, it would have to be this one. So first off, I just want to say thanks if you stuck around to the end. There were some highs, and there were some lows. But hopefully by the end of it, you might have found something interesting, or maybe you just hate my guts by now. I genuinely think there is an extremely bright future for manhwa. I went into this thinking that I'd constantly be comparing it to manga, but honestly, it's apples to oranges. Actually, no, it's like apples to Swedish fish. But either way, I just wanted to say happy 1-year anniversary to this. What a ride it's been since then. No, seriously, what a fucking ride it's been. And I think this would be a good time to mention the fact that I've now made a Patreon. For only $1, you can join a whole ass Discord server now, and I made a whole channel literally just for recommending stuff. There's also going to be a lot of behind the scenes stuff and tutorials for anything you guys would be interested in. Again, it's only $1, so if you want to support the channel, then I am extremely grateful to you, but please do not feel obligated to do so if you can't. I promise I'll still love you either way. Congrats, you have made it to the end of the video, and usually at the end of the video, I either decide to stay quiet or I decide to scream.
Hey, welcome to the barbershop. We'll be with you shortly. Take your pants off. We started this place with a lawnmower 5.0 Ultra.
So there's this problem that I've been coming across recently where every time I read, watch, or consume something, it'll usually be like, hey man, I just started reading this manga. Oh, nice.
What did you think of it?
And to be honest, that's a really hard question for me to answer. It's always been a struggle for me to put my feelings into words, so when you ask for me to share my opinion on something, I get scared. But today, I finally decided that things are going to be different. Today was going to be a day where I stood up for myself and talked about all of the manga that I've been reading this year. Some of them were good, some of them were bad, some of them were really good, and some of them were really bad. But the main goal is to talk about all of them, a lot of them, and compress them all into one big giant schizo rant of a video. By the way, if you're new here, I just want to let you know that this will probably be the furthest thing from a list of some cohesive manga reviews and recommendations. So if you came in with those expectations, then you should turn back now before it's too late. But if you're on page with that and want to see a 22-year-old talk about Japanese comic books that were either amazing or made me want to stab my thigh with a fork, then as always, feel free to strap in, grab a friend, grab a drink, put on your open-toed Crocs, and feel free to let me know if there's any mangas you think I might have missed out on. But before we go on this very hectic journey, we've got a word from our sponsor of this video. So as you guys all know, I'm literally the biggest fan of Chainsaw Man, and on top of that, I also legally identify as a gamer. It's actually marked down on my own license plate at this point. Now, wouldn't it just be great if I could go to a wishing well, chuck a couple pennies in there, and ask for something that could combine these two things? Well, thankfully, there's no need to be doing any more wishful thinking because Nikkei Goddess of Victory is having a limited time event where you get to play their immersive RPG shooter as either Makima Power or Himeno. And when I say limited time, I mean literally at the time of this upload you could get it. Nikkei is a cross-platform gaming experience where you get to recruit various maidens to form the ultimate alliance of combat specialists, and lucky for any of you manga readers, Tokyo's Special Division 4 is now standing alongside one of those recruits. Each character gets to have their own abilities and unique weapons. If you were to ask me which one I'll be personally picking, my answer would have to be Himeno. for certain reasons. Whether you prefer to have a much more immersive experience through PC or feel the need to chill out on the couch and play from your phone, Nikke Goddess of Victory brings everything to the table. It's got gameplay elements of a roguelike. Wow. It's got co-op. Oh. It's even got real-time combat combined with turn strategy. So what are you doing? Stop chucking pennies at that water fountain. Your wish is literally right here, right now at Nikke Goddess of Victory. Okay, so now that that's over, we can go right back to where we last left off. With the first one being a manga called The Story of Blue Giant is about a high school student named Dai Miyamoto, who out of nowhere decides to quit everything. He leaves his basketball team and gives up on school to pursue his dreams, to pursue his goal of becoming the greatest jazz musician to ever live. But the thing is that he has never played an instrument before, and when he says that out loud, all of his friends, family, and hell, even you as the reader think he's joking. But the reality is that he's not joking at all, and that's because the moment that Dai Miyamoto first came across the world of jazz, it was like magic. It was like an out-of-body experience, and from then on, it didn't matter how bad of an idea it was, Miyamoto knew he was going to pursue this until his body fucking imploded. He was determined to play that saxophone until it made the most beautiful sound on earth, and there's a moment where his brother wants to hear him out, to at least try to see where this random ass 180 life decision was coming from. But rather than trying to explain it to him, Miyamoto just starts playing, and the panel that's followed up by this had me fucked up for days. His brother almost starts crying, and then I almost started crying. And let me just remind you here, this is all coming from a story about music that has no sound. Like, I don't even know how that works. But if I took a guess, I'd have to give so much credit to the author Shinichi Ishizuka. He has this way of putting so much power behind every single note that's being played. Look at these panels. You can just feel them. All of these musicians pouring their heart and soul into this. It just makes you feel inspired. It's a beautiful story about a guy who says, fuck you and fuck all this. I'm gonna do whatever I want.
You gotta stop. You're gonna get me in trouble, bro. It doesn't like it when you frequently keep cursing for like no reason. This is really annoying after a while.
The world can't tell me otherwise. Coming from an author who clearly cares about the story as much as his own character loves jazz. It is the definition of motivational media.
Like
this manga just makes me want to do better. This manga makes me want to go out there and do the impossible. It makes me want to just punch a small dolphin 60 yards. Okay, so before I go on this long schizo rant about why I fucking hated this manga, I just want to preface two things. One, I'm a huge fan of Junji Ito. I absolutely love his work. And two, the hatred that I have for Uzumaki is honestly not coming from a reasonable place. And that's because for over a year now, I've been wearing this shirt that I thought was pretty cool. But now I have this problem where every single time I wear it, I have to be reminded of how fucking dumb and stupid the manga was. Let me just ask a question for all the people who have both read this manga and also liked this manga. The question being, when you read Uzumaki, what were these spirals? What were they supposed to mean? And do me a favor and just sit on that burger for some time while I go talk, because we're gonna walk back to that burger in just a second, okay? The manga starts off with this high school girl who spent her whole life living in the same small town. There's a point where she starts noticing some weird events that keep happening, like whirlwinds are appearing out of nowhere, the water supplies start looking like this, and even the sky itself is turning into a giant cinnamon roll. And to make things even worse, it starts to affect some of the people as well, like her boyfriend's dad starts to become obsessed with these patterns and puts them literally everywhere around his house. And soon after, he just goes straight up insane, to the point where his eyes are spinning in circles, and then his tongue turns into this. And then he dies. And this is where I start getting confused, because at this point, her boyfriend's dad just, I don't know, died. Yet for whatever reason, there seems to just be a complete lack of acknowledging the elephant in the room. Oh, wow. My dad just died. What happened? My dad just died. How did that happen? Well, he started looking at these patterns, and then he died. Really familiar. And then, you're not ready for this one. And then a kid who's like hella ugly starts turning into a snail. And then there's this bully who starts picking on him for being a hella ugly snail, which by some strange fate of luck turns the bully into a snail as well. And then they just start having snail sex. We should leave. And she's like,
Why? And this is the main problem that I have. This person is quite literally in fucking La La Land. She cannot even comprehend why he would suggest that. It's not like everyone around them has been murdered or burnt alive in front of them, but they really chose to tell this story from the point of view of the dumbest person on earth. And maybe at this point you're like, Alex, there's no way the main character is this oblivious. Dude, I shit you not, and I wrote this down, by the way. On page 276, she still has the audacity to ask, what's going on? What's going on? Are you out of your fucking mind? It's so obvious what's going on.
This dude curses too much. It's gonna get my ass in trouble. I can't. I really can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I want to listen to this, but the excessive cursing is just like... I'm not trying to be a nun over here or a preacher, but Jesus Christ, man. Like, chill. I can't. I don't mean like to stop it on you guys. I'm sorry, but like, just...
I need to find the best way to learn math and science.
Like, it's not that serious. Like, I get you trying to be entertaining. I get it, but like, Jesus Christ.
I have a confession to make. I don't read manga. I mean, I've read Berserk and a few other manga that I wanted to see past the anime, but being a complete monkey ADHD brain, I never really got into manga because I just like bright colors and Japanese men screaming. But I wanted to experience what it's like to be a true manga reader, and so I picked up a bunch of new manga to see how it feels like to discover a hidden gem. And also, yeah, I'm ripping off Skimble. Here are the rules. The manga should only have around 20 chapters so you can read it in an hour or two. It's only been out for 1 or 2 years, and it's currently still ongoing. I also gave each of these manga a must-read, a 5-chapter rule, and a 1-chapter rule. Some of the manga I read was really good, and some of it was not so good. But I tried picking ones that I think are not really talked about and I personally found entertaining to read. So feel free to skip around with the timestamps in the description, and hopefully you'll find something that'll give you a brief escape into a new world. Trash. What is trash? Is this trash? Am I trash? Taste? Rudo was trash from the day he was born. Being the son of a murderer, he was always the outsider, even in a village that was outcasted for being criminals. The place is such a shithole that it's literally placed right next to a shithole. The Abyss is an endless pit where they throw out both items and people when they no longer have any use. On the other hand, there's the rich, polished side of society that views anything and anybody that is slightly ugly as trash. Rudo is deeply against this idea because not only is it extremely wasteful, but his mentor Regto taught him to value even trash, as everyone and everything has a soul. Regto took him in and raised him despite nobody even wanting to come close to him. He even gave him a pair of gloves that cured the pain in his hands from an unknown scar that made his hands pitch black. Regto is the only person in the world who actually cared for him. That is until Regto's dying last wish to change this shitty world. Without hesitation, Rudo is tossed into the abyss as he is framed as the murderer.
Okay, just be clear, I officially finished the drawing. I have finished the drawing. I am done. We are officially done with kitties, or beanbags. OC. We did the turnarounds. We did the overall character design. And this is the final product. So yeah, we're done. Why is it? Hold on. Yeah, we're done. Okay. I am done. Let me see. I don't have to deal with this anymore. Something feels missing. I'm not totally sure what it is, but I'll figure it out later. Oh, wait, I remember now. Oh, the leg. Okay. So right here. I don't know if I can do this now. Hold on.
And he comes to the realization that the world he lives in is the true trash. This is a contender for one of the most banger first chapters I've read in manga, so much so that the creator of Soul Eater even gave it a shout out. The main character is low-key villainous, and that makes me just want to root for him even more. He just uses the whole world's hatred to fuel him, and that is just badass. I don't really want to spoil too much about what happens in the rest of the story, but if you want to find out what happens after this, go check out the manga. There's only 10 chapters out right now, so in my opinion it hasn't really had the time to fully establish itself as a must-read, but it will definitely hook you in as soon as you read it. So I'm giving it a 5-chapter. Everybody talks about Chick-fil-A versus Popeyes, but nobody's talking about Chick-fil-A versus Kaiju Demon Monster. Rooster Fighter is a story about the most Sigma being to ever exist, a rooster. Every chapter basically goes like this. Chad Rooster is in a new place and he meets someone who's pretty chill, like this old dude who protects him from these kids who are gonna feed him to a cat, and then bam, a kaiju appears out of nowhere. Chad Rooster hits them with a couple super pecks and then he finishes them off with a big and just as quickly as he finishes them off, he's out of there. But as the manga progresses, we learn more about the truth behind the kaiju, and we also meet some interesting side characters. Like there's this turtle who is also Chad, and they have one of the most amazing fights I've seen in manga. While the concept itself is pretty dumb, the execution is actually kind of insane with honestly some top tier art and paneling. Like bro, where does the guy even—
This type of writing or this type of anime would, this type of idea will never pass through the West. It wouldn't. That's why the Japanese or the Asians are king.
At the time to make this
at creativity
shit. But while the execution is actually amazing, I gotta be honest, this is only a 1 chapter. You ever play a video game and think about how fucked up what you're doing actually is? Take any Soulsborne game for example. You wander around the world murdering anything that gets in your way, only to take the souls of what you killed to upgrade yourself and to make yourself more of a killing machine. Now take that and put it into space. Coming from the same writer as Dorohedoro, Die Dark is a story of Zaho Sanko, a 14-year-old boy whose bones are said to grant any wish that you desire. Because of this, he's hunted by everyone in the galaxy, and he basically has an infinite bounty put onto him, kind of like a tarnish. However, Zaha is incredibly overpowered, and he fights using this bone axe and the skin of darkness, which is basically a super strong armor set. He also even has a summon, a robot friend named Avakin, who is also super strong and can breathe flames and do a bunch of other shit. Using the bones of the people he kills, he goes to the shop where he can upgrade his armor and buy new weapons. Jesus Christ, this manga is literally Elden Ring. But the interesting part about this manga is despite how gritty, horrifying, and messed up the world is, our main characters are super upbeat and have surprisingly simplistic mindsets. Zaha just wants to eat spaghetti and meatball sandwiches and have fun experiences. There is literally death herself, and all she really wants to do is eat the best souls possible. Their approach to life makes this manga incredibly fun to read, and despite it being one of the longest manga on this list, to be honest I kind of cheated, it's not that new, I read it the fastest because it's just so damn entertaining. There's never any boring exposition or characters monologuing. It's just Zaha and Avakin's journey across the universe as they meet Shimada Death, the Death God, and Hajime Damemaru, a living zombie who can literally regenerate his body from anything. Together they make up the 4 evils of the universe as they battle against the solar mass, the religious governing body of the universe that is also equally fucked up. This manga is a blast, and that's why I think it's a must read. Santa Claus. You may love him, you may hate him, but you can't deny he is incredibly handsome. Sanda, written by Paru Itagaki, the author of Beastars, is about a 14-year-old kid named Sanda who is a descendant of the one and only Santa Claus. When he wears red, he turns into the actual Santa, and once in the form, he has a whole host of powers. Supervision, super strength, ski feet, the ability to detect any lie, ultra resistance, and most importantly, a deep desire to protect and help children. Sanda's friend Fuyumura is the one who somehow knew about Sanda's hidden power, and she unlocks it by literally stabbing him and turning his clothes red. Yeah, she is pretty crazy. Whoa, where did you get that? Fuyumura wants to use Sanda's powers to help her find her best friend who went missing and was proclaimed to be dead by the school, despite them not finding her body. What initially seems like a pretty weird concept actually turns into an in-depth social commentary as we find out that this manga is set in the future of Japan, where the birth rate has declined so steeply that there are only 50,000 students in all of the country, and none of them have even heard about Santa in their life. They all go to this one school which they also live at, and initially it's pictured as an institution designed for nurturing the few young people that they still have. But we quickly begin to realize that this school has some seriously weird things going on in it. For starters, the principal is this guy. Normal looking dude, right? He's a 93-year-old dude who's been Botoxed almost to the point of death. It's so bad that he can't even make facial expressions anymore, and he's just stuck eternally smiling. The thing about this school though is that its goal is to make children lose all hope. With the country being on its deathbed, all they really want the kids to do is despair and do what they're told. Everything is prearranged: education, marriage, lifestyle. But this is exactly why someone like Sanda is hunted down by the school. You see, someone who gives hope to kids like him and rewards them when they do good can't exist in this society. However, Sanda's instincts fight against this, and it makes for a really interesting story. It's crazy, but Paru Itagaki is actually able to use this stupid premise to make some actual points on deep social issues in Japan. This might be weird, but this series hit all the same spots as Beastars for me, so I think it's a must read. You ever read a manga and think like, I want to be like that guy? Yeah, so did I, and like a normal person, I went to the gym and started lifting. Maruo, on the other hand, is kinda slow, and because he loves manga so much, he actually just starts punching rocks and kicking trees, and somehow it actually works. So after attaining insane amounts of strength, he decides to put it to the test on the final boss, his abusive father. Yeah, so after beating the shit out of him, Maruo realizes something. Turns out having shonen protagonist levels of strength in the real world isn't super useful. Nobody wants to hire him because he's just way too strong to do everyday tasks, and nobody even comes close to being a challenge to him when it comes to fighting. That is until, surprise surprise, this kid is actually a manga protagonist. Ayashimon are monsters that have the ability to look like people, but more importantly, they are the perfect natural enemy for Maruo. But despite being human, Maruo is way more fucking monstrous than anybody that he fights. Literally all he wants to do is win battles, and it doesn't matter how much he gets beat up or what his opponent's power level is. The Ayashimon have inhabited the Kabukicho district of Tokyo, which is known for its adult services. The district was run by the Enma Syndicate, a gang that united all the Ayashimon in the area until the leader, Kaio, died. The gang split up into 4 smaller gangs, while the original Enma Syndicate was inherited by this guy. He low-key also is into manga, but he's more into that Junji Ito horror shit. Any arguments between gangs or gang members are carried out through ritual duels, which is perfect for Maruo because he lives for this shit. After discovering the existence of Ayashimon, Maruo meets Urara, who's the daughter of the Kaio who passed away, and her goal is to reunite Kabukicho and get revenge for her father. They slowly build up their own gang, and they gain allies through Maruo's ritual duels. The author of this manga was one of the assistants to Tatsuki Fujimoto, the creator of Chainsaw Man, and he also created Hell's Paradise, which was another pretty popular manga. I haven't read either of those, so that means nothing to me, but from what I've heard, he took a lot of aspects from those other series and put it into this manga. This might be a little controversial, but for me this manga kind of followed the shonen formula a bit too much, but I liked how Maruo legitimately has the flaw of being stupid. Like, he's actually just dumb, and because of that he needs to make allies to make up for his flaws, which is different from most shonen where the protagonist is literally just like Jesus reincarnated. I'm excited to see where this manga goes in the future, but to be honest, if you're tired of shonen, you might not enjoy this one, and because of that, I'm giving it a 5 chapter. This manga wastes zero time. Straight off the bat, boom, this guy's slapping an old lady. These guys are roiding up. This guy's chasing a little girl on a scooter. This is a sheep biker gang, and no, they're not dream stands. The world is filled by chojin, people who, when pushed to an extreme amount of stress, turn into monsters resembling their deepest desires. For example, the main character's persona is a vulture, so he turns into a vulture monster. This guy really wants to become a pro baseballer to escape the hood, so he becomes a baseball monster. And this guy hates Jeff Bezos and mass consumerism, so he decides to become a fucking package. Coming from the same writer as Tokyo Ghoul, I'm just gonna say this is the best manga on this list. Despite everything that's happening, Ishida Sui is able to weave together everything so masterfully, leaving you constantly wondering what's gonna happen next. The story kind of reminds me of Devilman Crybaby, because the main character Tokyo is an extreme loser pushover, and his best friend Azuma is literally a perfect guy who's the most popular kid at his school, star of the baseball team, and one of the best martial artists in the country. And despite being pretty fucking psychotic, Tokyo continues to follow him anyways because, well, he's a loser. What other options does he have? But because he looks up to Azuma so much, he ends up not really even thinking for himself and just following whatever Azuma does. They eventually decide to explore a plane crash site where it was rumored that a chojin had been, but they end up running into... Okay, this isn't that scary. He's a fucking fruit roll-up. Turns out the guy that Azuma did this to got his hands on a drug that can turn you into a chojin artificially, and he's fucking pissed. So what do Azuma and Tokyo decide to do? Hell yeah, steroids! Unfortunately though, the roids have no effect on Azuma, but Tokyo on the other hand... Yeah, now that's actually scary, but it's also beautiful. It goes without saying, but Ishida Sui's art is a masterclass. Not only is there so much detail in his panels, but there's so much fluidity and emotion going on that it literally transports you into their world. I just barely touched on the story, but there's so much other stuff that I didn't even talk about. Like this girl who has vape powers, but her only goal is to secure the bag. But anyways, this manga is a must read. I guarantee you that in a year or two, this will be one of the most hyped series out there. Okay, so this manga is created by the same person who did Full Metal Alchemist, and that's probably already sold most of you on it, but it also kind of slaps. There are only 5 chapters out right now, so there's not really that much to go off of, but so far it's pretty damn good. The story starts out following an ordinary hunter boy named Yuru in a primitive looking village that's probably set in like the BC era. He's a really good hunter, and he chooses to stay in the village to give company to his sister, who for some reason is locked up in a prison cell. The only way the village gets essential supplies is from this guy who somehow has all the exact resources the town needs. But then America discovers that there's oil in the village, so... Turns out the manga is actually set in present day, and not only that, there's monsters and people sending out force fields. So apparently his sister is not actually his sister, and his real sister is part of a mafia or something. Anyways, they end up killing pretty much his entire village, except for the trader guy. Apparently he's like a badass ninja, and he ends up saving Yuru, and he also shows him how to unlock his Sugai, which are basically monster servants that can do whatever you want them to do. His Sugai is called Seiyu, and they are extremely overpowered. They can turn into literal lightning, and they're also resistant to bullets. Also, apparently the trader dude is also a Sugai, and man, I love this guy. I swear to God, if they pull a Maze Hughes on him, I'm about to fuck. I think that Arasawa has been able to build up some really entertaining characters, and also a pretty interesting premise. You know, one thing I loved about Full Metal Alchemist, and also in this manga, is how Arasawa can include lighthearted moments, despite being some pretty fucked up shit happening in the background, while not making it feel out of place. It really makes you really like the characters, and in turn, it makes it a super entertaining read. With only 5 chapters out right now, it's an easy 5 chapter, and if it turns out anything as good as Full Metal Alchemist, then this will definitely make waves in the community. You ever been put on the spot to tell a joke and you just can't think of anything funny? Yeah, me neither. I'm always on point with that shit. But Azamichi was put in that situation, and my god, he fumbled the bag so hard. However, Azamichi takes the L in stride, and for the next 2 years he practices writing jokes to the point where every day he wins this TV show, which is kind of like Jackbox, where you anonymously submit responses to a funny prompt. He comes up with some fire responses like, "I taught my friend's bird a bunch of dirty words in Spanish." But despite becoming a genius comedy writer, he's still a pussy. Because of that, performing on stage is pretty much impossible for him. That is until he meets Taiyo Higashikata, a prodigy child actor whose goal is also to become a comedian. The problem is he's kind of stupid, so while he might have the confidence, he doesn't have the material to build off of. But he ends up pulling off some five-head maneuvers to get Azamichi into performing on stage with him, and they end up killing it. So they decide to try become the #1 stand-up comedy duo in Japan. Along the way, they deliver some fire jokes like the band captain going on a date on the same day as their national finals, or a hippo at the zoo biting Azamichi's arm. You might have figured out what I'm alluding to, but yeah, this manga isn't funny. Don't get me wrong, it's super fun to see them climb up the ranks, and I think that some of the analysis on what makes good comedy was actually pretty interesting, but I think I only let out like 2 nose exhales during this entire thing. The story is basically a reskin of a standard sports manga, but it's still pretty entertaining. But all in all, this manga is a 1 chapter. It's not really worth reading, but it's enjoyable nonetheless. Vampires. They are probably one of the most popular tropes to be covered in fiction, but one of the earliest and most popular renditions was created by Bram Stoker's Dracula in 1897. Supposedly the original book is really good, and there are tons of adaptations of it, but now in 2022, you can read it in manga format. #DRCL Midnight Children is an adaptation of the original Dracula novel, and this manga is really weird. I mean, like, it is very disturbing, so if you get disgusted easily, then I recommend you skip to the next manga. A lone cargo ship travels across the Atlantic, and each day, more and more strange things begin to happen. As they're loading the ship, they get a strange set of boxes. Upon inspection, the boxes seem to just contain a weird soil, but the smell could only be described as that of 1,000 corpses.
Wait a moment.
Oi, Romanian, what are you doing?
I'm from a farmhouse with soil like this. By tasting the soil, I'll know it's crops. Ugh, I have never tasted soil like this before.
Upon closing the lid, another sailor cuts his finger.
Alright guys, I'm pretty much done. We did everything. No more of this, so tomorrow we're gonna play Genshin Impact first thing I get on. Or maybe I'll do a little sketching. I don't know. But I'm done. Let me see. I think this was a very interesting experience. I don't think this should have taken as long as it did. But it did. But it's officially done. I'm not doing any more of this. Thank God she didn't have a bunch of demands on the character, because she did, that we would have been probably here for the next 10 years. So yeah, I think we did a good job. And maybe if she likes it a lot, she might want a chibi character of this thing, of this drawing, and become a VTubing character. This might be her VTubing character for all I know. So for those who are here, thank you for coming in. I do appreciate it. So have a great night, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys need something, if you're a student. Oh, wait. Student. Ari, are you still here? Let me know if you're still here.
The next day, the
I'll
Romanian loses control of his body.
I'll be better after resting.
Following these events, the captain decides to recount the occurrences in his diary, but as he begins...
Skipper, I saw something terrible.
Olgren, what's going on? You're supposed to be on watch.
I saw it on the deck. It's on this ship.
Calm down, Olgren.
I had finished watering the plants in the hold and gone above deck, but the rain was too strong, so I was taking shelter from the rain in the shade of the deck room, and then I saw it. It didn't look like any of our companions. One man, tall and thin, walking to the front deck. Then just like that, the figure completely disappeared. Surely it was that bastard Petrovsky went missing last dawn. It was so terrifying. There are ghosts on this ship.
Olgren, you're just confused. Ghosts are just superstition.
Whoa.
Olgren, Mouse.
After Olga Ren's death, the crew decides to inspect the boxes once again. Upon rearranging them, they discover the imprint of a body. They turn around and see... Yeah, so all of that was just the first chapter of this manga, and it is really unsettling. The problem with most adaptations of Dracula and vampires is that you kind of already know what to expect. Like, yeah, they're gonna suck your blood and turn into a bat. But in this manga, I literally don't know what the fuck is happening. The art is also so well done, like it's literally some of the coolest panels I've seen, making it one of the most immersive manga experiences that I've had. You literally get sucked into the page as you try to piece together what's going on alongside a pretty interesting cast of characters. Also, it turns out that Dracula is Michael Jackson, so that's pretty cool too. But as amazing
It looks
as the
like
manga
Michael
is, I
Jackson.
don't think I can give it a must read because it's probably not for everyone, but definitely give it 5 chapters and you'll immediately know whether it's your cup of tea. Okay, so I've said before that I think that slice of life is pretty boring, but to be honest, I never really gave it a fair shot. Hiro Yasumi is a slice of life, but it also might be my new favorite manga. The story is really simple. It follows a guy named Hiroto who moved to Tokyo to become an actor, but after failing too many scenes, he decides to give up on his dream and lives an easygoing life working at a local fishery. He has a very special ability though. Talking to grandmas. This one grandma was
Talking to
particularly
grandmas?
lonely, so when she died, she left her house to Hiroto to look after. Meanwhile, Hiroto's cousin Natsumi is going to art school and wants to go to a university in Tokyo. She moves in with Hiroto, but she quickly discovers that living in a city as big as Tokyo is really hard as she struggles to find friends and fend for herself. The manga is basically just about their lives. An easygoing 30-year-old guy who doesn't really have any ambition, and an introverted 18-year-old art student with dreams to become a famous mangaka. You want to know the first thing that drew me to this manga?
Yeah, pretty good. That was the final piece. And since Ari didn't respond, I guess we're done. I'll finish this one panel with this guy, and then we'll call it a day. There's only 2 minutes left, so I'll let you guys finish the video. Yeah, we're pretty much done. Took some time to put everything together, but we're officially done. And I used some new techniques I haven't tried before, so it came out pretty good for the first try. So if some of you can kind of notice what I did.
They're not high schoolers. You've probably heard this complaint before, but as a Western viewer of manga, it is incredibly annoying to me that every single one I read has to have the main characters be like 14 to 16-year-olds, and especially in slice of life. The reason behind this is that for most Japanese people, the last time that they're actually happy is middle school. Later on in life, pretty much everyone spends every waking hour working. This manga is kind of like a direct commentary against this idea. The main character is so laid back that at times it feels like he's a stoner.
Yeah, that was
I'm like,
that was one of the new techniques I use. I won't be drawing eyes the same way I used to anymore. I know how to paint eyes much more efficiently, a lot more 3D-like, and look a lot more professional. I know how to do eyes way better now than I did before, so that's gonna be interesting among itself. So every time I draw a new girl, their eyes are gonna look a lot different. They're not gonna be like drawn on. I didn't draw these this time. I painted them.
Movie, I probably still have time to snap a pic of this cat and stand still on the escalator and piss off the people behind me. Oh, that cutting board looks kind of old. Why not send it down? Breakfast and dinner every day is a 5-star meal. He is never in a rush to get anything done. Granted, part of the reason he can maintain this lifestyle is that he was literally given a house in the middle of Tokyo. Like, those land prices are insane. But the real reason that Hiroto has this lifestyle is his hatred for competition. He hates how society views anything that's not a success as failure. He's perfectly content with his current amount of money in life, so much so that he literally triggers other Japanese people so much to the point where he's even pushed into a pond for his carefree expression on his face.
I'm glad because like I would have probably made a few more changes, but I think it's just fine. The mouth though kind of bothers me. I think the placement's a bit off, but it probably is just me.
This manga, I felt like I learned what it means to truly live in the present and finding the beauty in the everyday things that are around us. It really doesn't feel like you're reading a story, but rather just living alongside them. This manga might not be for
I also added the bells. I don't know how long you want the bells, but I put the bells at the end of her ear, like a little thing that kind of like, you know, chimes.
Everyone, but in my opinion, it's a must read.
I made sure the bells was anime-esque.
That the it be light again? Let me see the light again. All I need
Alright, that's the end of that. Alright. That's pretty much all that is. So, okay, with that said, have a great night, guys. I'll let you guys go. I do appreciate it. That's one of you guys. I'm finally done with this OC piece. It shouldn't have taken as long as it did. I think it took me 2 weeks now to finish this. I think this is one of my longest things when it came to drawing. But yeah, I think we're done. So have a great night, guys. Tomorrow on we're going to be playing Genshin Impact. I might do a 1 hour sketching, and then after that, we'll go straight to Genshin Impact for the rest of the day. Because I got to get the sponsorship. I only have about 3-4 days left.
Says it's perfect, Teach. Thank you.
No problem. Anytime. I think you did wanted
Says have
to...
a good night.
If I remember, I think you did wanted the pants to be ripped, but I forgot to unrip them. But I kind of think they look nice with it in newly intact. But I think the rip ones might give it a little more personality. But I wanted to look professional, so I didn't rip them because I'm still trying to understand the fabric. And when I tried to do it, it was just not working. So I just made them like totally new, like she just got them. But yes, I appreciate it. So with that said, thank you, Bean, for support. I do appreciate every last one of you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much, guys. Love every last one of you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, I am out. Later, guys. Bye-bye.